So like hit it, whack it, slap it.
Yes.
You know what I keep thinking about? You and your friend splitting a T-top is so funny to me.
It was actually a Corvette. And we're doing corrections from last week. And it was not, we were not going to split, me and my friend, when we were 10. It was not a Trans Am. It was actually a Corvette.
Oh, splitting a T-top is so funny.
I think it was a Corvette with a T-top, though. It is funnier with a T-top.
Everyone gets an L.
Because it makes the separation for you.
It's just, yeah.
Did I tell the story about how my brother and sister, Joey and Sheila, had a car that they split?
There's a Joey and Sheila?
Come on, we got them all. It's a big family. What kind of names you need? I got a Peter. They're all like Irish Catholic. Like they're all Bible names. There's a fucking Mary.
Sheila.
Joey and Sheila had a car that they split, and the deal was whoever was in the car when it like broke, needed a repair, you had to pay for it. So they would just
Jenga, dude.
Right. So they would just like push it into the driveway, smoking, and be like, and then the next morning be like, it was fine for me.
Right.
That's the kind of family
Sneaky
I'm
Brennans.
from, guys. That's where I live. That's my origin story. Bianca, how was your week? Are you freaking out?
You know, I do have some holes in this story, but I do remember some holes in the story.
Great.
But I remember something that I actually think everyone would find very funny on this podcast. I don't know if did I tell you about the guy who just said the thing to me that was weird?
Which thing?
I don't think I did. Stop me if you've heard this one. So I was with my friends in his apartment complex, and a new person had just moved in. So they do the hey, I'm at 10, know. And he's like, hey, ma'am. Like, you know. He ma'amed you, right? He ma'amed me.
He's a friend of mine already. Great.
You're about to, I don't know if you might unfriend. Anyway, so he goes, hey, ma'am, you know, I'm in a blah, blah, 11. Let me know. I was like, oh, yeah, you also, I don't live here and you don't have to call me ma'am. He's like, sorry, you know, I just came back from Hawaii, so I should have said sister. And I was like,
he's white?
He's white. And I was like,
he's my best friend.
And I looked at him like he had two heads. Sister. And I'm like, I just like blankly stared at him. And he started getting nervous. He's like, oh, sorry, I'm from Venice, really. That's why I'm wearing this. And it was like a tie-dye shirt. Okay. He bombed so bad. And then he ran away.
Triple bombed. Did he actually not walk? Did he walk fast or he jogged?
He scurried.
You should have to jog away if you're bombing. That would be I'm gonna implement that in my own life. If I'm bombing badly enough, I just take off running. There's an old story. I don't have the details of this story exactly right.
Come on.
I feel like Dave may have retold this story when we walked around in DC, where the guy bombed. A guy on an open mic bombed really bad.
Oh, yes.
And it was pouring rain.
Yes, he did.
And Dave said, the guy was like, I just don't know how that audience will ever look at me again. Dave goes like, don't worry, man. The audience will forgive you. And the guy goes, yeah, but will God forgive me? And runs off into the rain. Which is, you should have to do that when you bomb. Will God forgive you?
What'd you do?
My top story is, Jesus. I don't know what happened in the last 90 seconds to that cue, but it just blasted our ears out. And we're not wearing headphones, guys.
No.
Just to put it in perspective. Okay. You know that I Rolf, right?
No, I actually thought you meant throwing up.
Nope. Rolfing. It is a type of organizational osteopathic massage.
Yes.
Okay? I'm rebuilding my walk, rebuilding my posture, rebuilding my balance. In talking to this guy and talking to his wife, who does some shit with your head, I hear the term divergent vision, right? And I'm thinking, is that seeing double? But I kind of am like, huh. Do I ever do this on here?
Yeah.
Where I just close an eye? It's because my vision's not unified. And
Does
it's
that mean
never,
your eyes are offset?
Well, you can see one of my eyes is lower than the other one, just physically.
Look at me.
This is very good podcasting.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
Sorry.
so that my eyes are off. So basically, I do this because it just gets confusing for my brain to organize it.
So yeah, he like squints and closes one eye.
I close one eye, right? My dad used to do it. Maybe some of you remember my dad doing it. Legendary podcaster. My dad.
Sheila.
And Sheila, father of Sheila was the name of the podcast.
Father of Sheila.
My brother Kevin used to do a joke. I have 10 kids, but don't worry, we're not close. So he used to do it, and I noticed myself doing it and just didn't think anything of it. So I go to the Rolfer recommends an eye doctor, and I get my eyes I get an eye test, like more eye tests than I've ever done, right? Just more, even with glasses. Like, so at one point there's a thing where in the right spectrum or the right side, there is a red dot, right? And on the left side, there is a bunch of numbers going 1 through 10 on a diagonal basis, right? And he's like, all right, open both eyes. Where is the red dot? Right? Because it should unify. I'm like, I have no idea. I knew it was there, but I couldn't tell.
So you could see it, you just couldn't tell where it was?
Where it was relative to the shit in my left eye.
That's weird. You know, that's like those online, like, if you stare at this,
Yes.
things move.
But yes, except because of this, I apparently have no depth perception relative to most people.
You got rods and cones all straight?
I mean, no, I've never bumped into people. I don't have balance issues.
You don't have like astigmatism?
I have whatever eye vision stuff, but that's anybody. What I'm saying is I don't have my brain basically. All right, so the guy said the guy can't tell any medical stories. He can't tell I had a patient who, except for one person, Carl Lewis, the runner.
Yes.
Right. Another great Dave story, which is he saw Carl Lewis once. Dave's on shrooms. Carl Lewis is running. He's just jogging recreationally, but it's literally the funniest thing in the world that Carl Lewis could be doing. Anyhow, Carl Lewis had it, got it fixed, and was like, I was jumping too early on the long jump because I didn't have the right depth perception. Like it was fucking up his. He's a jumper. It's a long jumper.
Right.
I don't have depth perception the way most people do. I will get it, and then apparently the world will be like incredibly 3D.
So you're going to get it based on your walk?
I'm going to get it. Yeah, kind of. I mean,
Your
that's where
walk's
it
gonna
led.
help?
Well, they just mentioned it at the walking class that I take. They mentioned it, and I was like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, there's a thing. And I was like, I think I have that.
Oh, and then you
And
separately
then
went
I
to go.
called
Okay,
it, and
good,
he's
good.
like, call this guy. Da-da-da-da.
So what's the name of that thing that you got going on?
Binocular dysfunction.
I don't know why that's
I know, it's funny. I don't know
Binocular,
why. Binocular
like-
dysfunction. Like I got dysfunction. Like I got binoculars, and they won't
What's
line
the
up. I got
doohickey?
one over here.
There's
I put
a
them in my
doohickey.
ears. So that's
binocular dysfunction.
yeah, binocular dysfunction. Will was too busy hitting Neil's old man phrases, which it's not. It comes up when you type in binocular. Yeah, so apparently it causes anxiety, which would explain a lot. Although I don't think of myself as anxious. Headaches, neck pain, and nausea with motion sickness.
And
which
you're a nauseous
I'm
man.
incredibly nauseous.
That is
So we'll see what happens, guys.
So
Maybe
what's
next
the
summer I'll be on
solution?
your boat. I'll be on it's one of our lucky listeners' boats.
What's the
We'll
solution?
do a fucking hold on. I'm not
Okay.
ready doing I'm not done doing promo.
Excuse me.
The solution is I can get surgery. I can wear glasses that have a prism in the middle. He said
Cool.
just do exercises.
Oh.
So I'm just gonna start
Prism class.
I'm gonna start Prism. When I'm finished with my walking class, I'll go to my vision class.
You should just buy the Prism glasses because you just like to buy shit.
You know what? You're right. You're exactly right. Hello, doctor.
You're welcome.
So I'm gonna be jumping probably further than Carl Lewis as well. That's my understanding.
Well, we have to do we got to show him your walk.
I know. We'll get there.
It's
we
so
don't. We have
good.
too much equipment now.
Too much good. We will have to do just. Can we
I
just splice
bend
it
my
in with
knees.
Can we just splice
We'll
it in?
splice it in later, but it's
with
bad podcast. We'll do it later.
Yeah, but
we'll do
it's
it.
just
We'll
very.
We'll do
It's
it live.
very interesting.
So that's kind of the lead story. And I did ayahuasca yesterday, but that's neither here nor
Oh,
there.
bearing the lead.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just a part of my life.
Yeah. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's right. Everything's fine.
You know what, man? I'm going to New York for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to drink the plant. And
There's no Aya in.
There is. I just
Nua?
don't. I don't trust people who aren't the person I do it with.
Right. No.
So,
You've learned that the hard
yes,
way.
The hardest of
The
ways.
hardest.
You
The
first.
hardest.
You first. Me second.
Of course.
So yeah. So I need the empathy. That's why I do it. I need the empathy. Straight up. It reminds me of makes me empathetic, and it makes me remember the beam in the center of it all.
Okay.
So I hope you asked.
Hey, no,
you asked.
listen,
I
I've
answered.
been there.
Plant medicine.
Yeah. Old West Plant Medicine. Welcome to Old West Plant Medicine. You done took my San Pedro cactus off of my property line.
Not squat with your spurs on. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm happy.
Tell me anything besides the guy.
The guy Sista.
Sista.
Don't say Sista.
Sista.
Two Sistas.
Pretty great.
Pretty fucking good. And that
Sister,
was
not even sister, right?
no, not it wasn't. Hey, sister, rap with me. It was like, sorry, Sista.
Yeah, again, I don't know where, because you don't even really give off like a patchouli Badu vibration. Yeah.
Truly Badu.
Yeah, I mean,
That is the name of an incense somewhere outside of a 99 cent
probably.
store.
Well, the greatest Badu fact of all time is, where she would wear the African headdress.
Yeah.
In Africa, they called it a Badu headdress.
No.
Swear to God. Because nobody really wears them.
You're like,
so
you're still
everyone
wearing
was
that,
like,
girl.
Yeah, Badu headdress comes up, how to do a head wrap.
They're all white people. It's all
How
white
do you do
people.
an African head wrap? Yeah, I don't know.
Here we go.
Anyhow, it's untraceable, that story. But it's true.
It's really interesting.
It's untraceable. What do Africans call? 20 years ago, what do Africans call? Dear a non-existent internet. 1995 internet. Netscape.
Netscape.
Tell us, Netscape.
What was the one? Explorer?
Microsoft. Internet Explorer.
You know they just got rid of it. Like a year ago.
Yeah, well, what are they going to do? There were people, I know people with bad addresses like that.
What
I
happens
was on
when
Yahoo
someone,
till recently.
what happens when someone gives you AOL?
I'd pray for them. That's why I go to ayahuasca,
Oh,
is to
God,
pray for
forgive
people
you.
with AOL. Somebody funny has AOL, like somebody that's way beyond AOL, like a 10 millionaire.
Somebody that we know.
Say his address. Good.
I think Too Short has AOL.
That's funny. I mean,
I can remember when he gave me his email. There was an AOL in it.
It's a wild time. Tell me, is that all you have to talk about?
I think that's all. That's
I have binocular dysfunction and I'm addicted to plant medicine.
Oh no, I have to talk about something else.
What?
Guys, who knew the Ethiopia shirt was such a hit?
Oh,
with
people love the
and
people needed information.
And let me tell you, there was not a Sista in sight.
That Bianca was wearing an Ethiopia shirt last week.
It was cool. It was Ethiopia, and then it had like like it said Habesha, which is like the word in Amharic for Ethiopian.
Mm-hmm.
And then it said Habesha. Then like the H stands for like
Acronym,
happiness.
right.
Yeah, whatever, all that. It's hella vintage, you guys. You can't It's a one of one. I got
Mm.
it from Vintage Store. I'm sorry. Everyone asked me, like, where did you get it? Send me the link.
The funny thing is, if it was new, you wouldn't buy it. Do you know? Because it's
It would
like
just be
it just
too,
looks like
cheesy.
a weird outside church barbershop.
Well, I can get down with that. But yeah, I know.
But it's, you know what I mean? Like
the
it's a
new
little too,
prints
yeah.
and-
If it wasn't, it'd be like you wouldn't wear a Silk the Shocker shirt new, but if you wear it vintage,
Speak for yourself, Neil.
well, no, vintage, you'd wear it, then you're cool.
It's all vintage. Who's making Silk the Shocker shirts?
Bianca, it seems like if I am, you don't know. There's a market apparently. Bianca is becoming a funny T-shirt person based on the Ethiopia last week because
No,
now
really.
she's wearing.
No, I just am comfortable. This is a.
You're not one of these people who.
This is from my X-Files love.
Sure.
I want to
Extraterrestrial beats.
Um.
I want to believe.
Great. No, I know. Just do us all a favor. Don't turn into one of those funny
No.
T-shirt people.
No, I
Because
don't have a
it's too much to
Facebook
bear.
thumbs.
Right. And also, like, then I got to go, what's the chart about this week, Bianca?
This is just. I mean, I wear these shirts.
I go, of course. You're just a human being who happens to be doing a podcast. You're not.
And sometimes
You didn't think about it.
Dems need a fucking break.
Come on.
Thank you.
Anyhow.
What about you? Come on, did you do something? Now you have to add one.
I
Now
did.
you have to add something.
I already
Add
did plant medicine
Think of
and
that. What'd you do?
and
What did you do
binocular
Thursday?
vision.
Did you do any comedy?
Plant
Yeah,
medicine.
I did comedy. I had to follow Marin twice, and the only problem is we have some very similar
You're right.
COVID jokes, and it's like, fuck. So I have to either not do mine or be like, Mark mentioned.
Right. The Mark.
So
the
whatever.
Mark
But it's fun. To
Are you
follow
gonna
Marin.
when you go to New York? Do you like doing stand up better in New York or LA? Stand up wise, not like
Well, I
crowd-wise,
guess
just you.
New York, because it's
'Cause there's
just
more?
You can do.
Whoa.
You can do
Neil's super
20
strength.
in New York. You can do.
I can't. I can't do it.
No, I got it. In New York, see, Bianca.
Hip hop in New York.
Will, just keep drops for a second.
Is it- yeah, drop. Keep dropping.
Funk infused beats.
Still, keep going.
Go ahead.
Will, I'm not done.
Will, go.
There is no one that does it better.
Why would I marry her if I was going to kill her?
Keep going.
one cares.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Great, and it works with the Attaboy Bird. My mic thing fell out of the table. It's fine, guys. We're fine. There's not going to be a Kickstarter to save us. The New York's better. I just like you can do 9 spots at the Cellar, and
So
you can eat and
selfishly, you
hang
can
out.
just like
Yeah, it's just
do a
you
bunch.
just do more reps.
more reps,
Anyhow.
baby.
Anyhow, there was a whole world, Bianca, that had nothing to do with us, unfortunately. So Kamala was in South America, and she said, "Don't come to any migrants." She was in Guatemala, Central America. I always call it South America. Forget about Central America.
Central, dude.
Central, C-Star.
C-Star. C-Star.
And she said, don't come to immigrants. And you know who got upset about it? Do not come, do not come. She said it twice. When a black woman says something twice. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our borders. You know who didn't like that is
Liberal.
like liberals. AOC condemned it. Apparently, that's what the headline said. And this is to what, and I say this to liberals all the time. How many people should we let in? How many? Is it just as many as show up? Is there a limit? How'd you come to that number? Talk to me. And the truth is, they never have a number. They just don't have a number. So it's like, is it infinite? That like people that, and I'm not talking about political asylum. I'm talking about the border, like crossing the border illegally. How many of those people should we admit or encourage?
It feels like a mayor of New York situation because you're not really gonna get. You can't say come. Mm-hmm. You can't be like,
Right.
well, we're welcoming you. This isn't a situation where we need like, you know, in history, some countries will invite migrant workers
Yeah.
for a certain thing. It is don't come.
For like tech jobs in the tech sector, they'll invite migrants. Yeah, go ahead.
Trying to build a bridge. So like, I don't know what the right thing would have been for her to say. I mean, she can't.
Was she asked about it?
Yeah, she was
She was
dodging.
asked.
She was dodging.
Making the dangerous trek to the United States.
She said that it's dangerous. They get exploited. It's too dangerous, so just don't come, and you won't be let in. The problem is that saying you're a refugee for like seeking
Yeah.
political, or not political, but just like, you know,
Asylum,
is a legal way to enter
A
this
legal
country.
way, yes.
A legal
Yeah,
way to enter this country too.
right.
So
But you have to prove it. You have to prove shit. The Trump administration made the burden of proof like very high if they even allowed asylum. They may have
they kind of just
they may have
stopped.
just shut it down.
I don't even think they passed policies. They were just like, no.
Yeah.
But
It's a fact. So don't expect us to know what it is. But Trump did something with asylum. We think there's no way for us to know based on
what is it? What,
Trump asylum is what he makes it. He made it harder. How about that? So, so that's pretty close.
it's a Badu hair.
It's a
Badu hairstyle.
That's right. So I don't know. She was fucked.
Yeah, like what do you
It's like pick your poison.
right?
You want to say don't. You want to say come and then Fox News attacks you, or don't come and AOC and people to the left of you attack.
I also think liberals aren't saying, come on in, like open, come, we're open, we're fine. Like there's nobody that's actually saying that. So I don't know what the backlash was about.
Yeah, the energy is come on in.
The energy is don't not come.
That's confusing. That's you wouldn't if there was somebody who's having a brunch and they said don't not come, you'd be like, you know what, fuck you.
Neil would not go.
I'm not
Yeah,
going
right.
even with, you could send me an invite like Puffy and I'm not coming with like eggs
Right.
and other like props from brunch and I'd be like, I'm not fucking in a hickory box. I'm not coming to brunch. Again, I may never go to another party for the rest of my life.
And you said that pre-COVID, and then you had a moment there where you were like, I don't know if that was the right thing to say.
Well, now I'm saying it again and
Why
I
is
may
this-
change my mind.
Were you ever at a party
Was I ever at a party?
since you said it?
No, but I may not be. I may never. I went to
You're-
a party last February. There's one party I might go to.
What about your own rap party?
I try to lay low on that.
You Irish goodbye?
Yeah. I thought of an Irish goodbye. I was watching In the Heights, and I don't know what the punchline is.
You were
but
watching In the Heights? I cannot
I was
imagine
cooking, and I was like, let me see what this.
You were
and I
cooking?
literally forgot they sang. I just forgot they sang.
You forgot the guy from Hamilton. Maybe.
Yes, I just thought like
It was going to be like, hey, papi.
I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't think it through.
And then?
And they were singing. I was like, oh, fuck, they sing. But I was, the Irish goodbye, I'm trying to, I don't know what the punchline is, but Dominican goodbye, which is, it takes 45 minutes because there's cousins and you got to kiss people and you got to take selfies and you got a bunch of shit. I don't know. It can apply to a lot of people.
No,
It can
yeah.
apply to a lot of groups. Puerto Rican goodbye, the Dominican, fucking Haitian goodbye.
Persian goodbye is
Persian
long.
goodbye. You're never leaving.
You never leave it.
It never happened. It's still happening. You've been trying to leave this podcast for 2 years. So something I thought of.
That's
I
good.
sort of I think of racist tropes,
Right.
and that's one. What would be some alternative goodbyes?
so something good came out of watching The Heights.
So yes, the one song I watched, In the Heights. Ha! That was, I got to In the Heights title sequence.
And then you were
What's
like,
funny-
fuck.
The problem with musicals that would make me a little crazy is every ending has to be just crazy. And I know it's like, well, what about stand up? You need a punchline, but the punchline usually isn't a faster pace, louder, different genre tempo change. It can be if it's a song usually, but
Right,
or if you're doing
but-
a voice. But if I do da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that's like the da-da-da-da-da, it's the punchline. Musicals would make me insane.
Meet Me in St. Louis?
Again, I don't
That's
know
a
how
good
it
one.
ends. I don't know how I'm talking about the end of songs
Oh, how
having
the-
to be explosions.
Oh, da da
Like
da da.
bow. Like
Cut.
would make
Done.
like you're asking for approval so much in musicals. It would make me a little crazy. Now, the audience is more apt to give you approvals because it's mostly Housewives. Housewives. Housewives.
Did you watch Hamilton?
No. I don't like musicals. And the Hamilton,
It's a rap. You like rap.
I like degenerates rapping, full stop. And I've made that clear.
Yeah. You don't like.
I want you to have a record. I want you to go back. I want you to have just come home. I want you to be bad with money. I want you to be bad with women. I have many children. You don't acknowledge some of that. I don't acknowledge that. I mean, I want trouble.
Okay.
Okay? So
Sheesh.
that I don't want to learn.
You don't want to learn.
I only
nothing?
want to learn about drugs. That's it.
Okay, so a
And,
musical
like,
about drugs. A rapping musical about
rapping
drugs.
musical about drugs. Yes. The game, like the game. Yes.
What's the game?
The game, just the drug game.
The rat game
No, the drug game.
or the Kelsey Grammer?
No,
show?
the drug game.
Oh, the drug game.
Yeah. If you want to do a musical about that, I'm right there.
Did you?
I'm right there.
You like Dead President? Sorry.
The movie? Yeah. I think I haven't seen it in 25 years.
I
but-
just mean like, so you like that genre?
yeah, everybody likes that genre.
I know, but you seem to really specifically like that. genre.
No. I don't mean it doesn't apply to every and when movies, it's got to be about drugs.
Okay.
I'm saying rappers have to rap about degenerate shit or like what Kendrick does, which is rap about
Right.
trying to not be degenerate shit.
Macklemore.
Macklemore didn't. I probably haven't heard a Macklemore song on the way through. Need it to be. You need to be try. If you have to be tempted.
No conscious rap.
I mean, the guys who are conscious are pretty. Like
They're
even
still
they're
there.
kind of still talking about drugs.
Right.
Just
Okay.
a different point of view.
Cool.
So just make it about drugs, guys. If you're gonna rap,
Dope.
let me know what it's about ahead of time. And if it's about drugs, I'll give it a listen. Now, speaking of drugs, Hunter Biden. Now, Neil, it's not about drugs.
on.
Neil, it's not about drugs.
Hunter would be cast in your drug musical.
So Hunter, there it is, Will. So Hunter Biden texted a white person the N-word, which is like,
What are white people doing?
yes,
For real.
but
When
what's-
you read
go
them-
ahead.
When you read them, it's like not news. It's
Oh,
just
of course it's
dumb.
not. News. They're
like,
just still trying to like get Joe
go
Biden.
to his actual texts. Through dat nigga is what he writes. It's so annoying when you interject with frivolry. Is that what it says? I can't read full that. I can't read that far. True dat nigga. I'm done with my rant. It's like this is just
It's I
like
don't
corny
but when
rich
of
white
course,
boy shit.
I would say it's corny. Show me a white crackhead that doesn't say the N-word. Guy's a fucking crackhead.
Right. But
Lived in a motel with a woman he won't, in the book apparently, just uses by like a fake name. That he like, I think
Sapphire.
seemed like a prostitute.
right.
This is also like, he was also a crackhead. This is like, even if it's full conviction, sixth worst thing he's done.
Yeah, like to me, this is not Hunter Biden news. He's
No,
fucked.
that's who he is.
This is
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's like, are you gonna go to a houseless person that's clearly having mental health issues and be like, he said, like I don't
Yeah.
know. It just feels like, guys, this guy has a lot going on.
Yeah.
Texting true dat nigga is not.
The worst, most offensive part of that is true dat. If we're honest, it's still using true dat. That is the real crime,
That's a
and I
little-
wish the New York Post would cover that. Because for anyone in whatever year this was, it was after 1993.
That's
To use true dat, the N word, fine. That's excusable.
what
Inexcusable to me. That's the high crime.
we have a list now. True dat, Dipset.
Don't say dipset when
don't
you're
say-
leaving.
Don't say Dipset. That's like what the Dillio. It's
What
like,
the Dillio? Don't say what the Dillio.
Don't say what the
Which, by the way, wasn't even what he said. He didn't say what the Dillio.
What did he say?
He said what the dealy, comma, yo. That's what he said. Thank you so much.
A scholar is among us.
One of my favorite hellos ever. If I can drop it like it's hot, which is not a term, which is a term that I shouldn't have
What are you,
used.
what are you talking about?
I'm trying to name drop, and I saw Busta Rhymes. Hadn't seen Busta Rhymes in probably 15 years, and I saw him, and he goes, "What up, OG?" Which
that's
is
lovely.
very funny. Just call me OG is funny.
OG is good. You are OG.
I am OG, and the fact that he's probably a 5%er and doesn't fuck with white people like that was felt real. You know what, Bianca?
That was a true dat.
It was a true dat.
That was a true dat.
So that's the real trauma.
Trauma of it all.
Is that people that a white guy is saying true dat. Again, not the worst part. Or actually, the worst part is not the N word. It is the use of true dat. In the comment, it was easy for him to say.
It's like, come on, I can't. It's hard to take it seriously when it's all conservatives trying to blast it.
It's funny watching them try stuff.
Right.
They're like,
let's try this.
It's like someone looking for a new sound, like a band. We're like, are we in let's try like electronic kind of like, well, let's make a dance record. And you're
Right.
like, you're U2. You don't
Right,
fucking make
right.
dance records. Well, we're gonna try it. We hired we have the text
hot
and we got
producer
the
does it.
number one we've got the number one fucking
Producer.
Sorry, I'm just seeing some other news on there.
What other news?
To the right, lower
is that?
right. Right, nope. Above it. Yep, there we go.
Rob Riggy claims this.
Rob Riggle.
Oh, Rob
A
Riggle.
divorce problem.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Who's
Anyhow,
Rob Riggle?
He's a comedian. He was in The Goods with Jeremy Piven that I
Oh,
directed.
you know him. Close and
He's
personal
funny, funny dude. He was on The Daily
Oh,
Show.
he's in a lot of shit.
He's in a lot of shit. Yeah. He's like a lot of commercials and
Yeah,
he's like
and
very
like
hosty at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
That's a Page 6 story. We're gonna stay out of that.
Yeah.
Where to stay out of
Yeah, but
that. So anyhow,
listen, the other one above him talks about your little thing.
oh yeah, we'll get to that. So Hunter, I mean, again, name a white crackhead that doesn't say the N-word, and I will show you somebody who's not truly addicted to crack.
It's also very funny for white conservative media to be like, look,
Oh, of course.
hey, look, guys,
Yeah.
and everyone's like,
Also, how do you get the text? I mean,
I
it's like
don't-
one of these things where it's like,
okay.
why do you have these texts? How does this affect the job Joe Biden's doing as the president? It doesn't. They're just trying to hurt him.
it's just a bunch of people who say the N word saying, look at this
Yeah.
liberal.
Well, no, they say
associate-
urban. They don't say
urban.
the N word. They just say urban environment.
The urban youth.
Some POCs.
They don't say that.
But they don't say POC. Whoa, it's of color now? Since when? I can't follow it. Yeah, you can. You don't want to. Anyhow, what happened to North Carolina?
Well, hit it. What these whites?
This is all what these white
This
people
is all.
What are white people doing?
So basically, there was a North Carolina plantation had a celebration. They went to celebrate Juneteenth, and they were going to do kind of like a historical reenactment. And their
white
ad-
people were going to do a reenactment, or black people?
It was just going to be a reenactment of something that to celebrate Juneteenth, to just kind of take a look at.
It
just-
said in the
and
first paragraph.
so-
they were going to do their event was promised to tell the story of white refugees.
Yeah, no, it said, and I don't know where it is, but the ad says, "Come around and hear Massa tell stories." Massa's hiding out in the woods because the Union. No, who's the Northerners?
The Union,
North.
yeah.
Yeah, the Union are after him. Him and his white refugees also have a story to tell.
White refugees. By the way, Kamala Harris said they should come. Please come. Please come.
Please come. If you can find the ad, it's crazy. Come listen to Massa tell his tales because white refugees have a story to tell too. Here we go. Can you read that?
Why? That's an odd.
You will hear stories from the Massa himself, who is now living in the woods. Federal troops, Yankees, have him on the run, and his former bondsmen have occupied his home and are now living high on the hog. Hear how they feel about being freedmen. The overseer is now out of a job. What will he do now that he has no one to oversee from conceit to
What will he do? Complain and pretend he won. That's what he'll do. If we're basing it on history, from what I've seen for the last 140 years, 60, he's going to act like he didn't lose and build statues and fly the flag.
White refugees have been displaced and have a story to tell as well.
Somebody made the observation that the demasking, going unmasked in California, June 15th, 16th, whatever it is white people's Juneteenth.
Wow, had to be just a few days before us,
Yeah,
didn't
it's
you?
white people's Juneteenth, finally. There were a bunch of
said that?
comedians.
Oh, comedians.
And what's funny is like, if a comedian said it's fine.
I thought that
no, it
assuming the
wasn't like
joking.
it wasn't Tucker Carlson. Bunch of comedians, and then I was like, well, I guess the question is who's going to tweet it, and then someone said that's more your world. So why don't you handle it?
They know you so well.
They know They know that
know you.
I'm the one who came up with the Dominican goodbye. So something to think about.
A DG.
Thank you.
Thank you. So much outrage. They canceled. Can you believe they canceled the event? They had to have it. They had to be told, like, maybe, fellas, this isn't the right thing to do.
I heard that they're going to do next year a reenactment of all the trouble they were in this year. They're going to reenact the whole thing and the decision. Mass is going to tell stories of how he had to cancel the event. And it's going to be pretty fantastic. I'm way funnier this week than I was last week. And you know why that is? Don't have a head cold. I realized that was
not funny.
Slowing me down. Thank you. And, of course, shout out to plant medicine.
I think it's plant medicine.
You're
both. Loose. You're nice.
Well, I'm fucking open. Empathy. I'm the fucking empathy machine, guys. Harvard did a study about the BLM protests, and I don't want to give you the punchline. So opponents characterize activists as lawbreakers or as violent when overwhelmingly they were nonviolent. So statistically they were overwhelmingly nonviolent. And
most of the time it said it was counter protesters that were violent.
Yeah.
And police agitation.
Yeah. And or truly false flags where people pretended to be BLM and then broke window. Like in Seattle, there was a guy.
And then they just ran away.
Ran away. I mean, he wasn't bombing. He just ran away to hide. So that's the, that lady got in more trouble this week. Patrice Cullors. She got in trouble for the one who was building houses. The woman, the BLM.
Oh, yes.
She got in trouble. Well, first of all, she left BLM. Yes, she left BLM to focus on books and TV, which I'm not gonna comment on that. Okay. I'm sure that if anyone has a fine sense of narrative storytelling and production, it would be a woman who worked in nonprofits. Now, then she got in trouble for building a fence. It's another New York Post gotcha. Didn't getcha.
I don't get. Should she build?
Don't gotcha.
Yeah.
We got
Gotcha,
don't
gotcha.
gotcha.
No, gotcha.
So yeah, she got in trouble this week for building a fence.
It's so funny how we're media wise. A lot of the stories hold anybody associated to like the upper level BLM hold them to the fire more than like congressmen and women. Or I think it's just
Right.
like, you bought a house. Wait a minute, you bought a house.
Congress people are known to be pieces of shit.
Right.
That's the thing. It's that they're known to be pieces of shit. It's why
Right.
comedians get in trouble instead of congressmen. Because like, well, I can't count on him for anything.
Right.
I can't affect Mitch McConnell at all.
Right.
I can affect Kevin Hart, and I will. I'm coming. I'm going to be on Comedy Gold Mines. You mark my words. Kevin's podcast. We already recorded it. It'll be out. It was actually good.
Really?
Yeah.
When's it out?
I don't know. We recorded it 2 weeks ago. He does not stop working, and I know this because we recorded. He's in Slovenia or something filming a movie, and we recorded at like 3:30 in the afternoon, which was like 3:30 in the morning his time.
Wow.
And I didn't know that. I just thought we were having a conversation.
You're also pretty busy.
I'm not that busy. That's
No,
the guy.
no.
I mean, he's like unbearable. I would hate it.
Yeah.
All you need to know about Kevin Hart being busy is that his mother, he grew up in a shitty neighborhood. His mother used to schedule the shit out of him. And that's how he stayed safe. Lessons, classes, I'm signing up for this, signing up for that. So once I heard that, I was like, no, I will say, I will never, not like I was like, I'm going to get him so hard for overscheduling himself, but it's sometimes where you're like, why do you do all this shit? And it's because he can't not.
Right.
Anyhow, so BLM was a nonviolent movement. We tried to tell you. Now, the FBI did some shit that I liked.
Come on.
And you know that I love the game, the drug game.
The game.
So they had they somehow leaked a bunch of encrypted phones. Criminals had encrypted phones. Like,
Right.
yo, this is the new platform. This is the new shit.
Like a WhatsApp.
But it was built into the phone.
Okay.
Like, I think it was probably thicker. There was something about it that made them think that they were safe phones. And they were the opposite of safe. They were all pre-encrypted in a way that the FBI could, only the FBI and the person they were texting could decrypt it. And it's pretty great. Again, this is one of those things where
I thought you liked the game.
I know. I love the game, but I like this part of the game. I like Donnie Brasco. I don't want the guy to become a mobster in deep cover.
Right.
You know what I mean? I like both sides of the game. That's why Erykah
New Jack
Badu
City?
to bring it back to Badu, both sides of the game. Very old person I am. See Curtis Mayfield. I'm like Michael Dyson now. Michael Eric Dyson. Where I'm quoting Curtis Mayfield in my MSNBC.
You're also quoting
spots.
a guy
you know Eric Michael Dyson by sight. Well, you could look it
by
up,
sight.
but you could
on
make notes.
site. I know him.
You're gonna know him on site. You know that. You know him.
I do.
Yep. So there you go. I am old, but I'm not as old as him. Although it's pretty close. No, actually, it's not.
No.
15, at least 15 years that we know of.
Why are him and Jay-Z so close?
He wrote a book about him, and they took one picture together.
Cool.
So
is that legal?
They didn't make them take the phones, and it's like just encrypted, and then they probably I don't know if they pre-subpoenaed or what, but I don't mind it. What do you think, as someone who's so plugged into the streets?
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of.
This is similar to I like how they fucked up the Iranian nuclear program through algorithms.
Right. You
It's
like
just like, oh, that's a good move.
yeah. Like you're like,
Yeah,
fair,
good for you. That's fair.
well played.
Yeah, well played. And you can't hate on a good plan. But for the FBI,
I don't know. I'm both because it's like fuck
federal
drugs.
investigation. You're both, yes,
Because it's like fuck drugs and yes, get that on the
and
street,
fuck
but-
law enforcement and
fuck 'em.
fuck.
and it's
Yes,
clearly
and they're only doing drugs.
mostly
Yes,
and it's always again back to my statistics It's always the little guys. We're not going after the big drug busts aren't as common as like just little guys. So I don't know. For me, it's just hard to. I'm in a Lori Lightfoot my way out of this.
I like the espionage version of it, but
espionage is dope,
Yeah.
and we like it. We like, ooh, the pen turns into a.
It's a knife. Yes,
but I don't. But also, you don't want to be unencrypted.
Unencrypted.
You don't want WhatsApp to magically.
Well, yeah, but there's also
Turn.
that thing where they got some Bitcoin ransom back this week.
Yeah, they did.
And that's one of those things where it's like, okay, so is this shit secure? I don't especially care, right?
Well, they probably just gave them access to their shit.
No, Bitcoin, there is no them.
The pipeline.
The Bitcoin, they basically paid a ransom for the pipeline.
Right.
And then the FBI got the money back.
Right. How? Oh, how?
That's the thing. They didn't get it all back. They got certain numbers, basically. They got certain
after a while,
blockchain.
that shit goes.
I know. That's where you just.
Because it's like, we got to mine. These are numbers, but they are. So how do you give them and take them?
It's wild. This shit is wild. Between these encrypted phones and the blockchain. Man, it is so wild out
Wow.
here. And Tubin is back.
Tim.
Tubin is back on CNN. Did you see the segment?
Did we know what actually happened? So did he jerk off?
He jerked off. He basically, my understanding was, they were on break, right? On Zoom.
Right.
The problem with Zoom is you have to hit end call twice, which I do
it's
not like.
Leave. You sure?
No, are you sure? Yeah, it's like,
goodbye?
dog, just, I want to leave.
Dog.
Make it easier for me to leave, not harder. They were on break.
Right.
Like, we're going to take a 20-minute break. He must have thought he muted it or turned his camera off. He did not. He went to another computer and jerked off with somebody, a gal.
On the other side of the computer.
She was jerking off also.
Wow.
It's great when women, when you say women are jerking off, they hate it, and it's disgusting.
He's on a Kevin Hart schedule of.
He really is a jerking off. He's the Kevin Hart of masturbation. And I hopefully will be on his podcast as well soon. And if we're recording it, I don't want to know what he's doing off camera.
Don't take a break.
Yeah. So then on CNN he goes, he came back. I don't know if we're allowed to play this.
Can we just
legally.
play it and then?
Yeah. It's a little long.
Gun violence.
Let's bring in CNN chief legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin to talk about this and more. Hi, Jeffrey.
Hello, Allison.
It's been a while.
It has been a while, indeed.
I feel like we should address what's happened in the months since we've seen you, since some of our viewers may not know what has happened. So I guess I'll recap. I'll do the honors.
Help yourself.
Okay.
All right. Pause it. There was a punchline on Help Yourself that you did.
Right.
And Jeffrey, that's how you got here in the first place.
Right.
Helping yourself is why we're here.
In October, you
keep
were
going.
on a Zoom call with your colleagues from the New Yorker magazine. Everyone took a break for
Why are they
several
doing
minutes,
this?
during which time you were caught masturbating on camera.
No.
You were subsequently fired from that job after 27 years of working there. And you, since then, have been on leave from CNN. Do I have all that right?
You got it all right. Sad to say.
Why?
Okay, so let's start there.
Okay.
To quote Jay Leno, what the hell were you thinking?
You guys see
Well,
this?
obviously, I wasn't thinking very well or very much.
Are you
and
kidding
it was something that was inexplicable to me. I think one point, I wouldn't exactly say in my defense, because nothing is really in my defense. I didn't think I was on the call. I didn't think other people could see me.
You thought that you had turned off your camera?
Correct. I thought that I had turned off the Zoom call. Now, that's not a defense. This was deeply moronic and indefensible, but
But pause it.
that is
what's indefensible about it?
I'm sorry.
Like when
he
said,
just jerked off.
yeah, it's what's indefensible about it. You jerked off when you when you thought you were allowed to jerk off. And then his behavior's inexplicable to him.
And then she's like,
"Have you
"What
never
the hell were
masturbated
you
before?"
thinking?
Yeah.
Like, What? We're like crucifying this guy.
Of course. But they have to do this kabuki thing where they go like, walk the plank. And he goes, I am so scared on the plank.
This reminds me of Letterman when he had to apologize to his wife.
Yeah, but his was solo. He just did his solo.
Yeah.
And the fact that he got away with it and no one brings it up is pretty funny.
It is pretty funny, but that was awkward. It's
well,
like,
it had laughter. That was the problem with Letterman, is people would laugh. And he used it to his defense a couple of times. But
do you think there's a world where Toobin could have said, this is like done a Gen Z switch of like, why am I being shamed for
my kink? Kink, I masturbate.
Like, yeah,
he absolutely could have, and I wish he had.
It's so, and her doubling, that should not have, this is more inappropriate than what happened.
Yeah. This is him. He might as well have said True Dat. Go ahead. This is the most inappropriate thing I've seen since True Dat. The True Dat of texts.
That is part of the story. And, you know, I have spent the 7 subsequent months, miserable months in my life, I can certainly confess, trying to be a better person. I mean, in therapy, trying to do some public service, working in a food bank, which I certainly am going to continue to do, working on a new book about the Oklahoma City bombing.
So he's working in a fucking food bank and writing an Oklahoma City bombing book. Like what does that have? I don't understand what that has to do.
Is Old Testament shit. This is like you bad masturbator.
But the reason it's happening is because the people on the call, the women on the call, seemed to be like pretty outraged.
The thing is, on the call, I feel like that totally. I could see someone being like, dude, like I do not.
It's a fucking awful. It's like the worst thing that can happen.
And we don't know what's going on with these ladies, so I can understand everybody on the call feeling super violated. I would
rather see someone shitting on my desk at work than jerking off. If I walked in somewhere, if I'm on a work call, I'd way rather see someone shitting than jerking off. A million percent. A million percent. Because there's nothing especially graphic about taking a shit.
There's nothing graphic?
If they're squatted profile-wise, all that's different is I'm seeing a lot of thigh and side butt cheek and maybe some poop. I don't have to look at their dick. I don't have to look at their master. I don't have to look at their jerking off. I don't have to look at any of it.
No, so I think we're agreeing that for everyone who was involved, I think this is appropriate.
Give me $10,000. That's what it should be. Just give them all $10,000, and you don't have to go to a soup kitchen. You don't have to go to food bank.
We're getting
You don't have to write a book about Oklahoma City. You don't do any of this.
Stay out of what I don't understand is why we're owed anything as the audience, because everyone on TV is a motherfucker.
Of course.
So what?
Yeah.
It's such weird justice. It's like that judge that makes you like do
wear
wonky
the sandwich
things.
board. Yeah.
It's
beyond, and he's fired from the New Yorker. He is fired from the New Yorker. He worked there for 27 years. I feel like he was in it every week. He wasn't, but it was like he was the top legal columnist in the New Yorker.
It feels like just dirty laundry.
It's just part of it was they have to make an example of him, and it's like he didn't jerk off against their will. It was against their will, but he didn't. It was an accident. If we're all on Zooms, it's like you're seeing more of my house than you've ever seen.
But there's been people who walked in the background naked of someone's Zoom.
Yeah.
And
they have to write a book about the Oklahoma City bombing now. And they have to work at a food bank.
Why is that?
That's just what that's what happens. That's what happens. And Hunter Biden has to write a book about Kool Herc, DJ Kool Herc. It's an inside joke from before the broadcast. We're talking about Kool Herc.
But I don't know. This feels like just gross.
It's silly.
grossly over. It's just over
silliness.
It's like
It's kabuki silliness.
we don't feel better as an audience. I don't actually want to think about Jeffrey Toobin jerking off. Could have just internal.
It could have just stayed in the
Like internal.
like dog. Toobin, the fuck are you doing? Now then when they wrote the articles about him, it was like he had a baby out of wedlock with somebody's daughter and did it, and she was younger than him, and just it's like, okay, it's still immaterial. The guy knows the law. He's good at it. He's a good enough TV
But
broadcaster.
he had a baby with someone's daughter.
Not everyone's someone's daughter.
Oh, relax. I mean, like his friend.
Not even his friend, just another journalist, a guy who's kind of in journalism, and younger, but not whatever, like 30.
I mean, it's just once there's a thing, it's like let's
yeah,
look
like
for everything.
also, yeah. So it's just it's fake recrimination. It's fake one size fits all when it's not. It's like Louis didn't have to do this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he hasn't been allowed back on CNN, but although he has, just not as a guest.
The problem is that CNN has this, I don't know, this fake like pillar of morality thing. So they can't.
Well, they all have fake pillar morality.
I feel like Fox is.
But they're all.
keeps
It's
it a
all
little
in the
more,
name
like,
of Jesus.
Of course, but I'm not saying CNN only. I just mean they all have these personalities. Like, do you see this? This is an apple.
Yeah.
We will say it's an apple.
Yeah.
It's just this bullshit.
Right.
So
It's moralizing. He didn't break. Did he break the law? I don't think inadvertently getting caught jerking off. First of all, what has he gone through?
yeah,
Imagine
he's 7
getting
months.
caught on a
Right.
Zoom
We're not even thinking
jerking
about
off.
him.
I mean,
Also, how funny.
poor Jeffrey. Pray for Jeffrey. Of course.
How funny.
They should write the Oklahoma City. The people who
You
caught
should
him
give them
are
notes.
the ones who should have been kicked off in the New Yorker.
Imagine the amount of. I would love to hear the meetings. Okay, what Jeffrey's going to come back, but what does he have to do?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
imagine the meeting.
Yes, there's no.
It's all silly.
They also have him under contract, and if he gets fired, that he can sue him, and
like as if this is going to happen again.
Well, of course, he's never gonna fucking. You're not getting him on a Zoom. He's not. Everything's on the phone now.
Everything.
Landline.
Send a
he's
Raven.
beyond fucking. He's back to landlines. Jeffrey Toobin, back on landlines. Pray for him. Ooh, this is a good one.
Neil.
The French Open.
Ooh.
The French Open. Do you see who won the French Open?
My lady.
Where are they now? The French Open. Who won? That name and that. No, not the other one. The women.
Right there. No.
Barbara
Do it.
Krejcikova and
Do the second one. Do the second one.
Pavluchenkova. Maybe we just call them Krejcikova and Pavluchenkova.
Now I can read Cyrillic, so if this isn't Cyrillic, I'd be able to.
I don't know. Cyrillic's one of my favorite EDM artists. So and he looks like Corey Feldman. Cyrillics? Skrillex. I'm thinking of Skrillex. I'm sorry. Sweetie, I'm sorry.
Skrillex. I thought you
so
were
my point, the
joking.
point I'm trying to make is you made the great famous player leave for no base because you needed a
stuck
fucking dumb press conference.
Right.
And you know what you get in her place?
Poor.
The 31st seed beat an unseeded person. The woman had never played in a meaning she's not even good enough to be ranked.
So it's just garbage.
It's
now.
just like,
Sorry.
okay.
Maybe not garbage.
Well,
but-
it's the 31st player versus a player you've never heard of. There's no people in her family haven't heard of her. That's how not well known she is.
Don't say that about Barbora.
Karkalova, A Kova, B Kova, A Kova and B Kova. That's what I call it.
And Bikova.
So okay, cool. You guys won. They did the press conferences all right. The only problem is no one asked them any questions because they don't give a fuck about them because ain't nobody watching the tape. So this is where you get into the value of stars. And I got a lot of pushback from the clip last week, a lot of dummies with
What
points
clip?
of view.
Oh, yes.
When I said that
Yes.
that it was great, and they were like, she's gonna lose her sponsors. They're not sponsoring her because she does press conferences, you fucking dork.
And they're not going to sponsor Barbora.
The Akova ain't gonna get it. Akova might get like a shop in her town. And she might need to get Bkova to do it with her, just for like,
or
just
no
for,
dice.
Yes, just for like, just maybe some more visibility in case people don't recognize Akova from the town. They'll go, oh, they seem together. I kind of recognize. They form a fairly recognizable person. So the point is, if you've got, this is why Hollywood bends over backward for stars, because I can think of great sketches all day.
Right.
If certain people aren't in them, it doesn't really make a difference.
Right.
It's a fucking Funny or Die video.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
community
it's
theater.
but the only Funny or Die videos that worked were the ones with stars in them. So
Right.
like, this is the thing. Like, what's the difference between, Chappelle Show and Neil writing a bunch of sketches? I'll give you a hint. Names in the title. It's just different if you can get someone that people like to watch inherently to do the thing instead
Right.
of like, well, yeah, but then we have things that we need. Why do you need it? Ugh.
Right.
Because we decided.
And we've been doing it for a long time. And we are the correspondents that cover this thing and that no one wants to budge.
Yeah. It's like when a star is late, like I'll do commercials sometimes where they'll go, so-and-so would like to be done by 2. And, but I have to get shots till 4:30.
Right. You're like, and it's
I go,
one.
and I go, I go, okay. Because what am I going to do? It's like, or we can replace them.
Right.
Kevin Hart and Chase, not replaceable. Literally not fucking replaceable. Like, I mean, but there's nobody that hits all the quadrant. Even if you think about maybe The Rock. Maybe. I mean, The Rock, not maybe, definitely. Rock's the most famous person in the world and like the most beloved. But what if The Rock's late? Eat it.
Right. Right.
You don't get the close-up.
Right.
You take the 4K image and you blow it up to a close-up. And that's how you shoot celebrities, Bianca.
Right.
So you didn't get, I hope you're happy, French
Right.
Open. I hope you're happy. And now,
is anybody talking about the fact that like it went?
What do you think? Not really. I mean, they can't. ESPN can't talk about it. Nobody's on her side. That's in
media that covers sports
right.
because
they
it's
have to
directly,
be on the institutional side. So, it's like they're never on, a guy who wants a trade or a guy, And again, I don't think it's I think it's a part of their. It's part of their job. To me, if guys do interviews after playoff games or championship games in the NFL, what's his name got, so I don't get fined.
Right.
Cam Newton got in trouble because he kind of sulked through his interview.
He got in trouble.
I mean, he got fined or he got like dinged. Like people were like, that was uncool. Didn't respect that. Yeah, But they don't want to be there. It's a bad interview.
Yeah.
Straight up. I got another name drop. Seth Meyers one time told me the thing he learned at SNL was if a star doesn't want to do the sketch, they're not doing it. You can't force them. You can't go, come on. They're not comfortable doing it.
And it won't be.
It will not be good
fruitful.
and it will not be picked. Like,
Right.
How do you want me to fuck this up? Not even like they're tossing,
right.
They're like throwing the fight. They just aren't good at that kind of accent.
Right.
There's somebody who, I won't say who it was, but Seth wrote a sketch, got an Australian accent. It's I'll tell you off camera. It's not even like juicy. It's just like, oh, Australian accent. And the guy goes, I don't do a good Australian accent. And Seth was like, what? Like, but you do a shitload of voices. How can you not? And then he realized that a lot of showbiz is about managing your talent and like, what can I do well?
Right.
Let me just do that, even if it means doing less. Like, I just do that well, and I'll just do that well in my little fucking corner instead of going like, I'll try it.
Well,
and then you look like a moron.
There's a reason why, I mean, not every actor or performer or whatever can do everything. And when they do, those are the movies that flop. And we
they
don't
know
hear
that ahead of
and then
time.
we don't hear about them.
They know that ahead of time
And
a
they're
lot of
like-
the time.
and
And
they're
then
like, let me
people
just get this money.
or they get gassed up and they go like, I can do it.
I can do
I can do
Flex.
comedy.
When someone told Flex he could do Michael Jackson.
Flex Alexander?
Yeah. Did you see that made for
The
TV
movie?
movie?
No.
Where Flex was Michael Jackson?
No. Didn't
Please.
see it.
Flex as Michael Jackson. You don't remember that shit?
Wow. You
don't remember that? It was too good.
That's a wild time.
It was.
That's a wild time.
It was
Not
really,
Halloween.
Oh, it's so funny. Anyways.
Anyhow, so
but okay, question. Is a sketch funny? You write a sketch, you need the person to, let's say it's a famous person, Australian accent. Is it funny if they do a bad Australian accent, or is that kind of like a little too goofy?
No, it's bad. In fact, I won't say who I did a commercial with, and I said, hey, do it this way. And they did it that way a bunch of times, and the minute they did it, it was unfunny. And they gave it the old college try, and then they were like, let me do it again. Let me do it without that. And it was like, oh yeah, why am I was like,
Right.
I meant to apologize to them because it was like just stupid.
Why am I-
Like,
yeah.
why am I I didn't fight for it. I was like, maybe you'll do it better. Maybe you're not doing it. And then it was like, oh no, it's just one of those things he can't do.
Sketches are better when everyone's doing them
The best
the rules
possible
well.
way. I'm not a fan of big
Yeah.
teeth and wigs, and it's just hacky. Anyhow, that's all for today. What's that? We have to do
Wait,
twice
please.
the amount. Twice this? Not like we don't have to
Can you
jack shit.
please talk
Don't
about
have to do jack shit.
diarrhea
Oh, diarrhea. There was a diarrhea thing.
outbreak? Where?
Outbreak on Ultimate Slip and Slide television show. There's a lot to this story, guys. There's a lot.
Explosive diarrhea.
This is a true dad N-word situation because I don't know what's crazier. There's a slip and slide competitive TV show, or the fact that up to 40 crew members fell violently ill on set. A source with knowledge of the production said an outbreak of, quote, awful explosive diarrhea, unlike the non-awful explosive diarrhea,
Right.
led to people collapsing on set and being forced to slip and slide into porta potties. No, I'm kidding.
Stupid.
Being forced to run into porta potties.
Oh, Giardia. That's the like bad traveler kind.
Yeah, somebody. They got Gardia, Giardia, whatever you want to call it, GIF or GIF. No one knows. And scroll, please, Will. And it's
Ron
of course
Funches?
hosted by
What's
Ron Funches, which is fantastic.
I hope he didn't.
And
Neither of them
he didn't
got
get
infected.
infected.
They probably were like, "Don't you fucking say it got infected."
No, well, the funny thing was on some of the, I texted Ron because there was like outbreak on set, and it's a picture of smiling Ron.
No.
So it sounds like he had
That's
something to do with it.
terrible.
And yeah, so and just a picture of you with explosive diarrhea.
Right,
I mean,
just-
it's pretty satisfying. And they're airing it after the closing ceremony of the Olympics, which is like, okay, if you guys think if it's that serious, I think fantastic.
Well, will not be returning to its original shoot location.
I would like to say something, which is and I don't want to get into this very specifically. I'm pretty diarrhea lucky. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I'll tell you something that we won't get into, but I pray for diarrhea every day of my life. I love diarrhea and I like having it. It's easy. It's easy in, out. You don't have to.
You know what you did? You Gen Z'd me on diarrhea. I saw it as a negative, and
No,
you
it's a
said
positive.
it's a don't
Just
don't poo shame me.
Pedialyte. Don't. I like it. I don't ever have it, and when I do, I'm like, yes.
Well, that's like, and I don't. Again, we don't need to get into
I know,
specific about that. But when you're a little kid and you're so dehydrated that you almost never have to wipe, I don't know if you remember that period of your life, but where you just you're so dehydrated that it's all just like, yeah, I don't know, why do we even have toilet paper?
Right.
I never need it. Anyhow, I don't like talking
he doesn't
about
like.
this stuff.
I'm actually surprised you
Went as far as I went.
because you don't like.
I don't
pee-pee.
like it.
Well, now to just reel it back, that's why there are those signs at pools. Do not come in the pool if you have diarrhea, because it's contagious.
The Giardia?
Giardia and rotavirus, which
Yep.
is another one. Norovirus, maybe that's a computer thing. But no, there's a one that sounds like rotavirus. Anyways, there's these ones. So if you have any type of loose bowels, stay out of the pool.
I
You
like
can
that
infect everyone.
they're implicitly with
Norovirus.
that sign going, you can pee a little.
Oh, they're just talking
man,
about
I mean,
a
pee a
certain
little.
type of stool.
If you're going to take like a shit, it's fine. And you're going to pee a little, it's fine. But diarrhea, can we talk about diarrhea?
I have a useless observation.
Go. Loving it. Her first.
Her first. If you're in a pool with a lot of people, everyone's assuming someone's probably peed,
Yeah.
right? And you're still swimming.
Well, because you can't prove it or disprove it.
If someone stood outside the pool and took a piss in the pool, everyone would leave.
Throwing hands. We're throwing hands. It's going to be a wild scene. It's going to be the guy who beat up it's Sons and Four.
Same
Sons
amount
and
of
Four.
pee
Same
in the
amount
pool.
of, I'm popping, I'm getting me in a headlock. Sons and Four. I'm beating the shit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a guy at the Utah Phoenix game on Friday or Saturday beat two Utah fans tried to sucker punch a guy. They did the thing where they acted like it was done. You can play it. It's pretty great. All right, so the fight's over. They're ready to go. Like, we're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. Oh, fuck you.
Oh, got you.
And then he tries to
Got
fight him
you.
again. And then here he goes.
Oh,
Bang, bang,
oh,
bang.
you know,
Light
oh.
work. Light work. You want some too?
Oh,
Clean
oh,
shot.
God. While he has the other guy. I'm going to fuck your boy up. Uppercut.
It just and then he says Sons in 4 at the end.
What does that mean?
The Suns are going to beat Utah in 4 games, which they then
Sons
did.
and 4.
They then
He's a
did.
prophet. He's a prophet.
I said that he's a psychic, but he can only do readings if he's beating the shit out of you.
I understood what you meant at the beginning of the episode, but
Now you see.
we see.
This is
Sons
actually
and 4.
pre the episode. This is we talked about that before the
Oh,
episode.
we did. Sons and 4 is now a really
It's
great hashtag.
it's a hashtag.
Sons
It's a
and
very
4.
effective hashtag. And like I said, he's a psychic, but he can only give the reading if he's beating the shit out of you. And then someone tweeted underneath it, punch, 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 your grandma's going to be fine, which is a great joke.
Also, it's Sons and 4 is something that's not, because you always say whatever you're famous for, people yell at you.
Yeah.
Sons and 4 is good.
Sons and 4 is rest of his life.
Sons
it's
and 4.
fantastic. Like
Good.
that's what they're going to, he might as well change his legal name to Sons and 4. It's like, remember Temecula?
Yeah.
Meet Me in Temecula?
No,
It's-
wait, what?
There were 2 guys chirping chirping on Twitter about how they were going to fuck each other up. They were chirping about Kobe.
Okay.
And then finally one of the guys ended it with Meet Me in Temecula, which
so
is just
funny.
the funny, like but he meant it like I'm going to
Yeah.
fight you in Temecula, but then it became a whole thing. And then
Like-
one of the guys actually drove
Meet
to
Me in
Temecula.
Temecula is
Meet Me in
so
Temecula.
good.
It's the Sons and 4 of 2014. Anyhow,
Anywho.
diarrhea, rest in power. Don't rest in power, King. Bianca's looking for you, diarrhea.
Rest in Binky.
Bianca is looking to get into it with you. Did anybody think that's all right? Whale guy got swallowed by a whale.
Yes.
Bianca. The whale man.
The whale man. Also found out he's like dodged death like 10 times.
He dives for oysters apparently. Second dive of the day. He's a lobster diver.
Lobster, yeah, there we go.
And I like that everything's got like, I don't do it with cages, I do it by hand.
Yeah, like,
And he
you were
got
caged.
swallowed by a whale apparently. and the whale closed his mouth at one point. The guy said, all of a sudden I felt this huge shove, and the next thing I knew, it was completely black. Terrifying. I could sense I was moving, and I could feel the whale squeezing some with the muscles in his mouth. That's terrifying. If I don't want to feel the inside of a person's mouth.
You don't?
I was completely certain saucy gals. I was completely inside. It was completely black. I thought to myself, there's no way I'm getting out of here. I'm done. I'm dead. All I could think of was my boys. They're 12 and 15. Aren't they always?
They're always that.
No one ever goes, I can only think of my boys. They're 29 and
45.
40. After a certain point, they stop thinking of you on their deathbed. It's sad. It's a sad point. And yeah, and then he had scuba gear.
How do we know it's true?
The whale began shaking its head so that so he knew he didn't like it.
Oh,
he didn't
good.
like it very much, having the human. He estimated he was in the whale for 30 to 40 seconds before the whale finally surfaced. I saw light, and he started throwing his head from side to side. And the next thing I knew, I was outside in the water.
Didn't taste
And then
it.
a second whale came and got me. Okay. That's, I don't believe the 30 to 40 seconds part.
It's a long time.
That's a long time. You can last. You can technically, I mean, he's a diver, so.
But
he had
it probably
scuba on.
felt like that. Maybe it was less.
Yeah.
I believe him more than you, though.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. And I don't have much to add to it other than that whale did the right thing. And he's gonna be rewarded for it in the whale world.
Yeah, it reminded me of, wasn't it Pinocchio?
Well, it's the story of Jonah in the Bible.
Oh God,
In
what?
the whale. You don't know about Jonah and the whale?
No.
It's like the Bible's got like 5 famous stories. That's one of them.
Tell me, Daddy.
I don't even. It's
Tell me,
he
Pappy.
gets swallowed by a large fish, and he spends 3 days and 3 nights. Which again, everything in the Bible is 3 days and 3 nights.
3 days, 3 nights, 30 seconds.
It's like vacations on dating game shows. 3 days. Usually it's 3 days, 2 nights, and then he prayed to God, and then God tells the fish to vomit Jonah out. That's pretty much That's the Bible. That's just
Story
an episode
check.
of the Bible.
Jonah's story checks out.
Yeah. So it happened, and I wonder if this guy will believe in God more. We'll see.
Might need a little Aya.
Might need a little something for you.
A little something for you. It's called
Plant medicine.
I have a, but mine is as they're betting on supersonic travel. Feel like it will.
What do you
affect
mean with Bezos and everybody?
United.
Oh yeah, that they're going back to that. They're going back to the Concorde, the old Concorde. People that are old, me and Michael Eric Dyson used to fly it all the time. You can get it shaves the time off. It shaves like LA to London,
Like 3 hours.
It becomes a 3-hour flight. And
What do you think?
I don't think it's a big enough improvement.
It's 10 hours
It's not 10 hours.
to London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New York to London?
No.
I'm sorry,
LA.
LA to London. Okay, well, it doesn't make LA to London 3 hours. LA to London it's 10 hours. You were correct. Supersonic 347.
Neil, I'm correct all times.
We're gonna round up. We're
No.
gonna round up. We're gonna go 4, and everybody knows it. Although that may be the black in you. When you say you're going to be somewhere in 3 hours,
fuck
it
up,
really
Neil.
means 3 hours and 47 minutes. And black people, I'm right about this. Again, inventor of Puerto Rican goodbye.
This benefits us.
I'm not going to pay more for that. I just
And
don't care.
that it feels like it'll fall apart in the air.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the skinny dick that no one likes.
No one likes a warm
No
dick.
one likes a skinny dick.
No one likes a skinny dick.
It doesn't care. It's 12 inches. Yeah,
Fire
but that's
poker.
not the whole story.
It's not.
It's you got a fire poker in your
You got a
pants
fire-
and apologize. So I don't. That's one of those things that's going to cost $15,000.
Yeah, it'll be more.
And I have virtually nothing to gain by saving 7 hours. We're gonna go with your time, 7 hours, 6:45, but it's actually 7:45. But it's gonna. I like planes because I like sleeping. Now that may change once I fix my binocular dysfunction, but.
Yeah, you may not.
I may not sleep. I may not just instantly pass out on planes.
Right, but then you'll be able to enjoy the amenities.
Finally. I mean,
You've been rich for too long.
do they still give? Is that still something? Are the amenities still exciting? I know. You know what I do with the amenities? I do save them all, and I use them for the chapstick. And
the whole thing just for the chapstick.
Chapstick, and occasionally I'll have a house guest, and I'll let them use a brush from one of my.
You don't put on the pajamas?
No, never have.
Can you save the pajamas next time?
Would you like them?
I love them.
I may have some upstairs. I don't, but I do have the sheets. I'm kidding. No,
If you ever find,
yeah, of course, done.
If
it's done.
Thank you.
Bianca,
Just
don't say another word. It's done. Excuse me, guys.
Okay,
You deserve
it's
better.
done.
Now with I don't have a doc watch. I watch that show Hacks. You know that show Hacks.
Is it good? It's all over my ads.
I know. I was a little skittish because I don't like when they do comedians in TV shows. We all just look like sweaty monsters. And there's a bit of sweaty monster, but the girl who plays the young writer woman, her name's Hannah Einbinder. Hannah Einbinder is good, and they have a good relationship. And of course, Mike Schur produced it, and I didn't even realize it. Yeah. And it's just good. It's like one of the episode. I was very Gene Smart.
Oh, here we go.
I was very impressed with the writing. It was like as well done as it could have possibly been. There's an argument between the two of them that they could have done it way sooner.
Yeah.
And they wrote like an extra page and a half before they did the blow up, and it was like, that's good fucking writing.
Question, because when I see things, even like for some reason I've gotten into Game of Thrones when I don't nearly have the time to watch.
It's about time.
It.
I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you.
All quarantine. Now I've taken everything in me not to address you as my lord. I want to say my lord and my lord, but I'll see one, half a line, like a under 5. I'm like, they auditioned 500 people for that. So it takes you out of it just on the acting side of things. When you're a writer, does it take you out of a good show because like, oh, funny that they put that there, or like
you can do it concurrently. You can do it.
Not
you can do
like
it at the
doesn't
same
take you
time
out.
where you're like, it's like anything where you're doing it and you're also like, oh. Like if you're driving and you're like traffic's bad, you don't like swerve off the road.
No, of course.
You just like,
but you know more than the average watcher is what I
mean. Ostensibly. I would also like to say that Schur's the producer, and the writers are Jen Statsky, Paul Downs, and Lucia Aniello. Paul Downs and Lucia wrote for Broad City, and Jen Statsky wrote for a bunch of Schur's shows, and I worked on her with something. She's cool.
So you liked it? You liked the song?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was just like, I don't think I'm going to watch anymore because I was curious, but I don't know if I'm not like, I got to see where these characters, I'm just like, all right, that's okay.
Good.
Yeah, good.
I watched a show called Mayor of Easttown. And
yeah, people like that one.
It's not good.
Okay, good.
Like, I don't know who these people are.
Yep.
It's a show about a murder, but of course everyone needs a storyline.
Right.
Most of them go nowhere. They're just like character building, but to nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand how people, there were 2 episodes where nothing happened. And she's drab and is miserable and has bad energy, but somehow everyone wants to fuck her.
And she's doing a Philly accent, right?
I actually thought it was Mass somewhere.
It's Philly,
like deep Mass, but
it's
it
outside
is Philly.
Yeah.
You know when people do that like home move sort of East Coast thing? It was like,
that's Philly.
That is Philly.
Yeah. Wooder.
Oh, interesting. Wood. Yeah, yeah.
Wooder.
Wood. Yeah. Okay.
I
She's
live
the-
there, and you're thankfully I didn't pick it up.
Thank God. She does a.
Guys, I could have done Chicago. I could have done Philly. I went for neither because I knew on
Standard American.
sight that they were bad.
They're
That they
not
were
good.
not. They were not great accents.
Acting is all great in it, but the show is it's not good and it's slow. Everyone somehow wants to fuck this lady who doesn't try and is bad energy and not
Yeah.
pleasant to be around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. Just was a lot of eye rolling to me, and then
She looks like a dowdy Kate Winslet.
weird.
That's they're like, you look like a dowdy Kate Winslet. I have a great burn and a name drop.
Come
Ready for
on.
This is a big name drop day.
Yeah.
You know how Vince Vaughn used to be incredibly good looking? So
Extremely
good looking,
sexy.
it was like confusing. If you look at Vince in Swingers, you're like,
You can't
what the fuck?
his cheekbones. He's so hot.
He's better looking than James Dean
Oh.
and fucking funny. Like really
and
funny.
like with a personality
and improv-y funny, right?
Oh, he's
Then he got
so
fat.
fucking hot.
Then he got skinny again. And when I saw him
No,
skinny again,
That's cruel, Will.
that's a tough one.
That's a tough.
When he got skinny again,
Did he get
friends.
skinny again?
Yeah, he's friends with Steve Byrne. He hung out at comedy clubs all the time.
Yeah.
And I go, Vince. He got skinny again. I go, Vince, you look great. You look like a young Vince Vaughn. It's a good burn. Anyhow,
Good one, Neil.
I deserve that.
That was good.
'Cause it
That was
hurts.
good.
It hurts. It really gives you a sense of how badly I need it.
Right.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, just like, yep, I need it. Let's do some mails.
It's time to check that email.
The people made us some songs. Dumb purchase, dumb purchase. I bought some fuck shit that ain't worth it. Dumb purchase, dumb purchase. I bought some fuck shit that ain't worth it. Muse band, bad shoes, backup camera, 2 stun guns and a hands-free falls. Minneapolis, mini fridge water, bugger salt pad like electric scooter. I got all this shit and then I don't want to use it.
That's good.
It's good. That's very good.
Fog Labs. Thank you, Fog Labs.
Fog
These
Labs.
are Blaze Pods, right? They light up, and basically, I saw it on Drive to Survive, the Formula One show, right? That these things light up. I guess I'll light them up.
Light him
I
up.
gotta go
Light
on
that
my
shit
app,
up.
gang. I gotta get on the app, the Blaze app. They're the Blaze Pod app.
Tell me what they do.
They light up, and you basically.
Oh, like hit it, whack it, slap it.
Yes.
But
thank
what is
you.
the point of it?
Exercise, planks.
Oh, when you're on a plank. Dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun, dun.
planks. You can do running. You can set them up for the kids' basketball.
No.
I mean, you know,
You like?
they're called dumb purchases for a reason. We didn't get as much usage out of them as we thought we would.
They didn't
I'm
even
not
work.
doing as many planks as I planned. That's
How
on
many
me.
planks did you plan?
I planned. It was summer of planks. And I didn't get the amount that I wanted, and that's on me. All right, they're lighting up now. They're lighting.
Oh, they're lighting up.
They're lighting up, gang.
Okay.
They're lighting up.
Okay.
Dumb purchase. Pod number 4 is about to be online.
Dumb purchase, dumb purchase. I bought some fuck shit that ain't worth it.
That's really good.
That is a very good song. Okay, here we go. Let's light them up.
Okay.
Ooh, they're lighting up.
So you'll be in a
y'all.
plank and then you. Oh. That's from plank position. You hit these,
Yeah, that's this one, and then whatever. That goes
and then you
on.
do other things.
And then next thing you know, you're broken dead. Next thing you know, you're out of money.
That took a dark turn.
But that's the dumb purchase. The Blaze Pod.
No,
Dumb
no, the other one.
purchase,
Blaze
dumb
Pod.
purchase. I bought some fuck shit that ain't worth it.
Blaze Pod. I'm just gonna keep saying it. That was a dumb purchase. We mostly did that for the song. And hopefully will cut out the boring parts. And by the boring parts, I mean all of it. Go ahead, Will.
Right, so,
got mail.
Quick question for Bernardo and Bianca, my rescuers. Get it?
Yes, I do.
The Satan asking, how was your week, has inspired me. You two switch bodies, right? Male, female, POC, Whiteman. How was your week? Ready, go. Thanks. Love you guys. Bye.
Oh, if we switch bodies.
It would be like,
Yeah, I'd be like just jerking off
Squeezing
like,
the
oh,
dick.
I've been meaning to get in this thing for a while.
ew.
Here I go.
bah.
I'm finishing
I'm
your
joking.
joke. You just thought I would grab your boobs. It don't end there. As me.
You would look at them and
And
grab
you'd
them.
be fucking jerking off
I don't
like
know
on
how
a
to jerk
Zoom. I got to get on a Zoom so I can jerk off.
I would just be like-
as Neil, you would.
I would be beyond. I'd Freaky Friday though.
Yeah. Oh,
me and
your
you.
personality? That's not, he didn't exactly say that.
Let's
He
just
just said you
assume
switch bodies.
Freaky Friday.
Oh, what would I do? I guess I would try to put myself in as many scenarios as I possibly could. Well, that doesn't do it either because I was going to try to get a woman's point of view on things. Like,
Yeah.
let me just try to understand
Yeah.
what a woman would think in this situation. And then, like, what is it like if I wear cleavage, but I don't like the attention? Like, I intentionally wore cleavage and then was put off by the amount of guys mentioning it. Because that to me is, I don't understand what that would be like. As an example.
Well, I mean,
As a
it's-
guy, there's a 40, I'm sure there's 70
There
of those.
it is
in
hard
reverse.
though because when I have big boobs, so it's really hard to like wear everything and you not have cleavage.
Right.
It's not like
Yeah.
you know I don't
You
wear.
have to like tape them down or something.
Yeah, and
Which I would have done in the first hour just to see it, just to do it. Because I love tape.
on auditions because sometimes because they stick out in front of me. When I self tape, I wear like 2 sports bras because they don't.
Yeah.
Like it just looks like this big titty bitch wants to be.
Right, this big titty
Where's
was trying to be in
this
Game of
bitch?
Thrones.
No,
Bitch, titty,
my
titty,
my
titty,
my
like
lord.
that.
So, and even then, it's very hard to get around. So, it's not that I'm gonna intentionally wear this cleavage and then I'm gonna be like, no.
But I don't.
you know,
Right. I don't even think I don't think it's like there's something in you, whether it's like as simple as like you're ovulating, that weird shit. Like when women ovulate, they show more skin, statistically.
Okay.
It's statistically.
I'm
You look it up.
just trying to understand.
Right. So, and then men tip them more, just weird shit like that neither party controls, right? So, what would that, if I do something and and I'm not talking about accidentally, I'm talking about specifically, like I need attention and then I need sexual attention. And then if I get it, I don't like it. Shit like
That's
that.
how you
As
would
a
wanna
guy,
experience.
I can't really do much to get sexual attention without being a douchebag.
I think the difference is at some point as women, you like at whatever age you realize, and it's an early age, that doesn't take much. I don't have to
Yes.
wear a shirt.
Yes.
I have looked funky, fugly.
A study of female universities found that female university students found that they eschewed drab clothing for a more flamboyant style when they were ovulating, suggesting hormonal changes had an unconscious effect on their behavior. The
Interesting.
women were not necessarily dressing more provocatively. We did see a bit more skin.
It's cool.
So yeah, so shit like that where I'm doing stuff unconsciously, it's getting a response that I don't like. And then how do I, because as a guy, I would just go, it's like if I'm wearing a watch, I'm going to get robbed. So I would immediately go to that. Whereas I
But-
don't think women go to that
Cool.
as a natural line of thinking.
Well, one, I mean, it's not like life is at every corner is rapist. You know what I mean?
But I don't mean rapist. I just mean, catcalling.
The thing is, and I think it's hard sometimes for guys to understand the limits guys will go. I've worn, a sweatpants tucked into cowboy boots with a sweater on.
I'm hard as hell. I'm hard as hell.
And it's still like, hey, girl.
Yeah, but
so
I
it's
don't-
just like
again,
there's no limit
yes.
to, there's no actual way to. And then I remember me and my friend when we were teenagers. She started feeling fly.
I thought I couldn't get any harder.
She started feeling fly, and she wanted to borrow my friend's tube top to go to a part of town that wasn't like great.
Wasn't tube top friendly?
It wasn't a tube top friendly. I won't describe why, but no tube tops. I would not have worn a tube top to this
Right.
part of town. We had to go because we were going to this thing, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And when I tell you, as soon as it was nightfall,
This is how Bianca stops white people from weaponizing racism. Go ahead.
I tell you nothing.
Uh-huh.
As soon as it hit nightfall, she was like, I will tell you, she never wore tube top again. You know what I mean? And that was a lesson learned at 15.
Yeah.
So you do have these, you touch the stove moments as a woman. And I mean, after a certain age, we know what we're doing, kind of. Not like we know what we're doing, but I know when I feel comfortable dressing somewhere. I know when, whatever, if I get attention, I get attention. I see it as, I like showing off my body when I feel like showing off my body. And if male attention comes with it, good or negative, I mean, it is what it is. That's just my outlook.
Yes.
But
I think there are some, it seems like there are women that are not aware of the part that they play in the negative attention.
I guess it's because we have this false sense of freedom in this country. It's just like, well, why can't I just wear a summer dress that makes just me feel good?
Yeah.
Not about you or getting attention. I just feel great in this dress. I worked hard, or I worked off my body, whatever, I don't know. And I have to also think about random ass dudes at every corner and them making me feel uncomfortable. Like that is a thing that I don't think you can fully understand, and I don't think it's fair.
No, I
and
can't.
I don't think,
but if you wear a watch, it's like there are male versions of it that like, am I gonna have to stop at a gas station? Maybe don't wear this.
There's little danger lurks for everybody. Danger lurks, and I think the problem is from a male to female relationship. It's just confusing because you could walk the same road 1,000 times and be cool. I think a guy will know when he can't wear a watch and when he can.
Right.
And with a woman, there is always a Jack in a Box moment where like you could be the safest and you could still get raped or taken advantage of, or this person is your friend and then one moment they're not your friend anymore. So it's just a harder thing to have full command of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course, but that's what I'm trying to master as a weekend woman.
Yeah,
weekend woman.
What is it called?
Go
Bridge
ahead.
and Tunnel Woman.
You've got mail.
Hey, Neil and Binks, longtime listener. Unfortunately, do not remember the acronym at the moment, so my bad on that.
Wow.
Stop it.
Stop.
Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy.
I wanted to write in regarding Neil's stat a couple weeks ago regarding you guys having the largest number of multiracial listeners of any podcast, which as one myself, I tend to agree with. But I think the issue is not being able to tie that to any real data, which obviously not just for you guys, but I think overall, right, the structural limitations, whether it be the census not allowing you to check multiple boxes, or studies conducted around race being very specific along distinct racial groups. There's just really not much data around multiracialism, but I do think as we've seen the social justice movement unfold, it's done so sort of episodically, with us right now being on Stop Asian Hate. So maybe in later seasons, we may have, some focus on folks with multiple racial identities and, really the nuances of having to navigate that. So wanted to get your thoughts, see what you guys think. Excited to hear it. Also want to throw out there that Binks, if you are ever in New York City anytime soon, I would be honored to take you up for a drink. And Neil, please don't make fun of me too much for that last part. I mean, it's Bianca.
Yeah, I got it.
I got to take a swing.
This guy's half white, half black, and half long-winded.
And
he is mixed.
Full hot.
Do you think, is that hot to you?
Even with the Jew.
Good for him.
He's cute.
He looks like
he looks like what Drake wishes he looked like.
He looks like Ezra Edelman.
No, he does not.
He does. Ezra looks like this with a haircut. More or less. I mean, again, nobody. People don't like when you. Ezra wouldn't be happy to hear it, and he wouldn't be happy to hear it. Like nobody's happy, but shape, face shape, it's similar.
He just has a deep voice. I'm a sucker for deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hi.
Good for him. Well, if you ever get to New York City, it's going to be
Wow,
supersonic,
days.
guys, or she's not going.
The
2
train
hours
comes
or
at
don't
midnight.
bother.
I kind of zoned out on his question.
Well, it was too long. That's again.
sorry.
That's going to
I
happen
was
on
like,
the date.
Huh?
The thing that the mistake people make is they tell you everything they know about something, and just tell the headline. Just give me the headline, and I'm as guilty as anyone. But that's why I have a podcast.
Well, also you are very good at. You're good at like.
If I'm
organizing
bombing, I
the
run
information, and you run away, and you organize information in a pleasant way. Not everybody has that skill. I have a friend who, when she meets someone, it's a information bomb.
Yeah,
it's like, well, I was actually divorced. I mean, to the point where I'm like, stop,
yeah, and that's one of those things. There's nothing you can do. You can't. You couldn't explain that to her.
I haven't.
You got to lay
bad.
it, but
it's not
you can't.
Good.
You need to learn how to lay
upset.
information out. It's very difficult to explain. It's like grade school.
I think it's a primal thing. It's very hard to undo that. You lay information out nice, and if someone ands your information, you're like, okay, cool, and you can go off that. So that's good.
I'm about as good a storyteller as you're ever gonna hear. No, I hope that guy. I don't know what to make of the mixed. He's complaining that there aren't more mixed statistics. There was also a fucking. There weren't enough dark skin, Latin, Afro-Caribbean people in the Heights. A woman complained and confronted the director and claimed that her daughter was more crushed or just some like hyperbole. And there's still going to be good-looking people. The problem is we may change beauty standards. Symmetrical eyes, nice lips, nice layout is still going to be the name of the game.
The problem is, though, and there's a real problem of the whitewashing of Latin culture.
Yeah.
Which is why when I say I'm Afro-Latin...
I love J-Love. Go ahead.
Which is why when I say I'm Afro-Latin, people literally up until a few years ago, don't know what the fuck that was. What? Afro-Latin?
Do you think because they had white passing features, do you think you have white features?
I don't know. That seems like a slippery slope.
Well, but you know what I mean? That was part of the complaint, which is like, okay, so you're asking for it just gets pretty close to measuring stuff.
For sure. But there are, I think when you think of Latin America, we think of J-Lo and Sofia Vergara, and that's it. And we don't.
Are there others? Go ahead.
Like, for example, Zoe Saldana.
Mm-hmm. For example.
She's Afro-Latin.
Mm-hmm.
She has not white features,
Right.
But
which is why she's always playing green people.
Exactly.
She hasn't played a black person in 2
since
decades.
Crossroads.
Yeah, oh boy. Did I tell you the woman who directed Half-Baked directed Crossroads right after it? Really?
Yeah. Wow.
So I got
trajectory.
some backward. Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, that seems lateral.
Right.
And I have some good Britney scoops from 1998. You guys, I don't have any. I'm not going to share them on the pod.
They're not like shareable.
No, I mean they're benign, but they're just boring.
But yeah, no. So we don't have like these. There's so many black-looking people in Latin America. There's so many you can't believe, and even there's a lot of Colombians in Panama. When I lived in Panama, the most beautiful women I've ever seen were dark-skinned women from a place in Colombia called Cali.
Mm-hmm.
They looked like Barbies. They were just Barbies with a very dark skin. And so Neil's hand is doing something.
If I'm not mistaken, it sounds like we're talking about cistas.
Cistas.
I could be mistaken. Callie has a cartel.
Callie has
That's
a cartel.
pretty-
But
pretty-
anyways,
pretty
basically,
popular.
like, I don't know. It just feels like we are still stuck in half the motherfuckers in New York. I mean, you lived in New York.
Yeah.
Dominicans look black.
A nightmare. I'm kidding. A
Dominicans
black
look-
nightmare.
They do. They want to.
No, Dominicans truly look. They're black dudes. You say what's up, and they go hola, and you're like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. And I'm sorry, Dominican Republic. The other half of the island is Haiti.
I know.
Somehow they're not black.
Somehow they.
Somehow
Well,
it's
it's
like,
very separate.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is. We are not the same.
Well, by the way, that's kind of how the DR handles it, but that's a whole other. That's a whole other issue.
Yeah, we don't have the.
We don't got the bandwidth for that. We don't. That's a separate podcast.
gotta-
Haiti and Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Good luck figuring that out. It's like they might as well be Brennans. It's so complicated.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hola, Nardo.
Oh my God.
There you go.
I'm in a classroom, so don't mind the AC. But one of my favorite things that Neil does on the podcast is basically just try to surmise a person's career and by just saying, I don't know, which I think is hilarious. But I became a fan of podcasts through your show and another show called Blank Check. And they discuss directors' filmographies. And right now they're discussing the filmography of John Singleton. So he's a director who, like, obviously had talent, but he kind of became this figurehead for people who just turned into functionary film directors in Hollywood at that time. And so this one's for Neil, but what do you think is the reason why some directors do that? Why some directors just go from making extremely personal things to just making Hollywood shit? I mean, depending on if you think that's shit, but let me hear what you think. Neil, you're a beautiful and tender man, and I don't want you to ever think you're not beautiful. And Bianca, you're a lady and a scholar, and one of the smartest people I've ever heard talk. So thank you very much. A committed Tuesday listener. Good evening.
Oh, that's nice.
I did
like
it right.
him. I
did
like
it right.
him.
Did it right. He was tonally from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Hola. Good evening.
Sons in 4.
Beautiful. Sons in 4.
Sons in 4.
Didn't you know John a little bit?
I was on Snowfall.
Yeah.
He was very nice to me. Very warm, welcoming. Saw me cross like, Bianca, yeah, come here. Like
Right.
immediately as I walked on set. Very lovely.
Yeah.
That was the round 1 Snowfall with Lauren London, Kofi. Lots of great people.
They reshot it?
Hey, they fired us all and reshot it. So
Nice.
there you go.
You showed them.
Could
So-
have been
I mean, that's
more
one of those
famous.
things. But it's also in season 3. People like it. Were they right to fire those people? Like, that's one of those things you'll never know.
I don't know. Lauren London killed it. So
I believe it. They just probably, I don't know.
I
Did they
do-
rewrite it or they just reshot it?
So, from what I understand, it was not the acting because like Kofi, you know Kofi,
No.
the like attractive guy. He was in Girls Trip. The dark skin Kofi.
I'll just imagine Boris Kidjo. We'll be fine.
dark skin Boris. Kofi Girls Trip. From what I understand, he's like in.
Okay,
He's
I
just
get
like
it.
an
Yep,
extremely
yep,
attractive man.
yep.
So from what I understand, it had to do with.
He's one of these guys that's great looking, and then if he's somewhere outside and one dude goes, "Why is eyes so close together?" He doesn't get laid that day because
Oh my God,
his
no.
eyes are a little
What?
close together. That he's still great looking,
No,
but if
he's
someone says
fantastic.
it ruins it for a day.
I don't know.
He gets in his head.
So
thinks
he
about
bombs.
it later.
He bombs himself.
It's just one of those things. Great looking.
He's so hot.
But if somebody says, why is eyes so close together, like loud in a group, it's going to get a huge laugh.
Okay.
It's like the old Tracy Ross. Somebody said on it, Tracy Ross.
It's so
I'd hate to date This is like there was a barbershop show on VH1 or something in the O's.
Yeah, MTV.
And
it's terrible.
Somebody, not the sitcom. It was
No,
like
it was
a reality
like
show.
a reality show because everyone, the mic, it just
Yeah.
wasn't, sound was bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're probably right. One guy said I wouldn't want to date Tracy Ross because I'd always think someone was sneaking up behind me. Which once you hear it, very hard not to think about when
I
you see
love her. And
Tracy's the best.
And Pattern, her hairline, very good.
She's doing good with that.
Pattern's fantastic.
Great.
But so from what I understand, John was doing a TV pilot on a movie budget, and there was just a lot going wrong from what he told me, and I was promised that footage.
They ain't giving you no reshot
I'm never
footage.
getting.
No.
He told me I could have it, but whatever. The point is that I think there was so much fucked with that first round. There was like so much going on, and they couldn't clear certain. I don't know. I think it was easier to just like redo. But yeah,
I can speak to
the directing,
the personal part, or the why make personal stuff versus commercial stuff. Because it's first of all, Baby Boy is a fucking weird movie by his own admission. And it's easier to get hired on Fast and Furious than it is to get to start Baby Boy from your script that you're fighting for. And they're going, what? Tyrese and Ving Rhames and Snoop, like, he butt naked headlock. It's just a lot of weird shit. And then, but then if you go
so bad.
Right, what do you mean?
I mean, he made it sound like his filmography descended into nonsense, whereas it's not that bad.
Descended into Four Brothers.
Well, that abduction. Okay, yeah.
Abduction, whatever. It developed.
Oh, he did Badass? I thought that was Van Peebles.
I thought it was Pop. I think it was. I think he's producer.
Okay.
So you just get into it's just easier. The other thing that people have family. They get married and they either have to support their family or they're divorced. They need spousal support. They need money. Whenever someone's doing some shit, they need money.
This
they
is
probably
gig work.
just
I
got
don't think
divorced.
people realize gig work.
Yes.
Everybody, even Kevin Hart is on gig work.
Yes. I mean, yeah.
I mean, at a crazy
Baby Boy's
level.
the last thing he wrote because it's too fucking hard to get weird shit made. And then
He did
Too Fast, Too
Woo.
Furious, Four Brothers, Abduction, and it's just easier. They're ready. They have a start date and an amount of money you're going to make on Too Fast, Too Furious. You will have $800,000 in your bank account by June 30th. So you just go, I don't give a shit about this other shit. Or I do care, but I can't. It doesn't matter because I have to give X amount of money to X person
and
every month.
People also forget.
What?
Like you did a shit movie and then no one cares anymore.
Yeah. They forget that you did the shit movie?
Yeah.
Well, speak for yourself. Must be easy. Must sounds nice.
Goodbye.
Anyhow, yeah. Go.
You've got mail.
Hey, Neil and Bianca. I have a relationship question for you here. So what do you do when someone just kind of refuses to accept an apology and it seems like there's nothing you can do to get them to accept it? It's like they don't even believe you're sincere or earnest, even though you are. And for the sake of argument, let's just say, you fucked up and you owe them an apology. What can you do? Just grand gesture, wait it out? Any advice would be greatly appreciated.
What did he do?
For argument's sake.
For argument's sake. He fucked up.
I think there's nothing you can. It sounds like a girl. He fucked up and he's apologized and she's not. I mean, there's a difference between. This is when you get into like, I accept your apology. What does that mean?
Right. Are we moving on?
You can still be fucking mad. You can still hold it against them in some facet of your body or mind. You still are like, that's this motherfucker.
You did that thing to me.
Yeah. And I forgive. But, and vice versa. I've apologized to people for shit and they've never forgiven me. And there's somebody who still shits on me, shit talks me. And I like very clearly, I made a mistake. But in this case, that person likes the aggrievement better than they like whatever the the piece would be.
Or I've had a situation. I rarely don't accept an apology, but when someone's just so blatantly rude or fucked up or whatever it is, and then their apology makes it worse. Like, it's like, I did that consciously. It's like, you did that I don't want anything. I don't want
meaning their admission.
Their admission is just like, yeah, I was knowingly doing that.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Sometimes an apology makes it you
right,
mad again. I don't know.
I'm with you. But my question is, should they have not admitted to that level?
No, it's like, we're cool, but
yeah,
it's, not everything can be resurrected. Not everything can be.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's scorched earth. Sometimes your behavior is just scorched earth where, thanks for the apology. I don't take, the apology helps me not think terrible of you, but the relationship is there's no bringing it back.
Yeah.
So.
You can.
The apology doesn't
can
hurt.
be scorched, and you're like, yeah, I get that it's like I've had situations where people did shit where I was like, that's so foundational that there's no point in continuing.
Right.
It's so foundational that
exactly.
there's no point. It's the thing I was saying about a thing where it's like, I felt like I was paying for insurance and then it turns out I wasn't covered for that. And you're like,
right.
Why would I ever get insurance from you again? Like, for what? It's not worth the paper it's printed on, if I may use an old man phrase.
Come on.
Did you send me the old man phrase tweet?
Maybe.
Somebody sent me a tweet where it's like when you're dating an older dude and it's great, and then he'll say some like an old man
says
phrase, like 6 of one, half a dozen the other, and you remember how old he is. Which
I can't remember. I read that. I don't know if I sent it to you, but I thought of you.
Thank you for almost doing what you almost did. What else we got?
LST, NER.
I love it.
Oh, that's nice.
Listening to the podcast right now, and you guys are talking about masturbation. Neil says it's gross if your partner is there. Bianca says is a fuck you. However, what are your thoughts on mutual masturbation? Whether it's you touching yourself, your partner touching them, they, he, herself. What are your thoughts on that? Love the pod. Let me know. Thanks.
I'm fine with that. That's like a form of sex to me.
Yeah. It feels like the only reason why you do that, there's some sort of constraint though.
Like
that's like in a jam. There's a jam.
I mean, it's
a
also
pickle.
like an interval.
Yeah, or it could be. Yeah. Okay.
Right? Okay. You get me on that. Well, okay. A little interval.
That's the
it's like an interval. And I have absolutely no problem with it. As okay, now at 10 o'clock in bed when you like toss the computer and then you just like stare at each other like it's a contest, not with it. But don't
toss the computer.
Done. You get the things out. You get my blinkers out.
Base pod?
Jerk off. My base pods. My blaze pods. My blaze pods. That I'm not with. But,
I don't, I don't like it.
Okay.
I like us both each other.
Exacting.
I don't like
pleasure.
me and mine.
No,
you
it
do
just
you
feels
and
like,
I do me.
Yeah. That's
just
when
cubicles,
couples
cubicle
go like,
neighbors.
he has his life, I have my life. And then we meet up and you're like, the better.
They don't live
like
together.
The
and
closer you get, I don't know. Whatever. None of them work. So what am I even talking about? But I know masturbation works. And
he knows.
And it's fine. I think it's fine. It's admissible. But as a practice, if there's no like sex exacted on the other person, then what are you doing?
Yeah,
then you're doing
like,
blaze pods. Ultimately. Thank you.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hi, Neil and Binks. Sorry.
Swing and a miss.
But you guys just read a study that 78% of all drug charges are for less than a gram. And I just want you to know that is complete bullshit. It's not that people are getting charged for low amounts of drugs. It's just that there's no way anyone knows that number. I'm a criminal justice data analyst. I've worked in a number of states kind of looking at the data regarding drug laws.
You think that's reliable?
And no one tracks that information. No one knows the actual weight of any of the drugs. In order to get that information to look at trafficking levels in one state, we had to do a file review of each individual police report. And people are just guessing. There's no way a study can say 78% of all drug charges or anything. It's insane that you would think people could track data like that. Police departments, not that organized.
People get charged.
Yeah.
I don't trust him. I
No,
don't trust his voice.
no, I like it.
I don't trust his voice a little.
I believe him. I believe that he's a.
But you get charged for an amount.
You get charged and convicted
based on the amount.
They say the amount in the charge.
So I don't get why it's
or
like
if they don't say the amount, it's
less
somewhere
than, it's less or more than something.
Right, based on there's mandatory minimums.
Right. So I don't get how that's not trackable.
You have to file a report or whatever the fuck he said. So that he had me on the thing, and then he's like, in order to do that, you'd have to ask. Well, then I'm betting they asked.
I think a study asked.
Or I mean, you're putting us in a tough position because maybe you're absolutely right, but you didn't. It wasn't argued great, but then again, I cut you off.
But also,
it
does make sense that most people aren't walking around with kilos. So
right.
It makes sense. I feel like it's trackable. I know people who've been arrested for drug charges with a small amount and they still got busted, and that amount correlates to charges
yeah.
As someone in college,
because now they're not prosecuting under a certain amount of,
or you're allowed to have amount.
Yeah, I think he needs to go back to work and ask some questions.
Right,
but
now.
maybe he's right. Send us another audio.
Yeah,
don't open Wacky. The problem is he opened Wacky.
He was morning Zoo Crew.
He Zoo Crewed it, and you lose credibility.
You do.
Other than the Bubba the Love Sponge Hulk Hogan court trial, where you want to talk about Zoo Crew?
Zoo Crew.
They said it was that there was some meme or joke where they knew it was Hulk Hogan in the video because he kept calling the woman brother.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Here's my question. If Netflix came to each of you and said, we'll hire the director you want to make a documentary film about a topic you're interested in, who are you choosing and what topic?
It's a good question.
That's a good question.
And it's also a toughie.
Yeah, we would have needed this.
Who do you... I think I pitched that on here about just a documentary about cops. Just law enforcement in America. And
what angle?
All the history and how it came to be. Like slave catchers, all that shit. And I would nominate Ezra.
Ezra would be mine too.
Yeah, Ezra, because it would be exhaustive, and he's like the thing he did in the OJ one. It's like synthesize. It's like he's orchestrated 5 different massive stories. It's like 5 different documentaries intercut.
Well, I'm going with old Ezra because why not? Probably, I would really love a deep dive into wealth in this country and all forms.
I found myself doing deeper and deeper dives.
Just from the history of it, the history of formation of this country, how people got wealth. Obviously, that comes with land, and that's been touched on a lot of things. But really, who didn't get it? Who was prevented from getting wealth? Who were the people that shot to the top?
Yeah.
Like unions, everything, just wealth. How what was the most important, just significant points in history that propelled certain people to wealth. Their
Yeah.
downfall, and then like now just Y2K, 2000s, certain things fall. Like wealth in this
Yeah.
country is just so foundational.
There is a really interesting movie. It's not good per se, but it's
Okay.
fucking interesting, called The American Ruling Class.
Okay.
And it's genre-wise bananas.
Interesting.
But you should watch. I don't even know where to find it. It was like one of these things I stumbled on. But it's not about, it's just kind of about rich people. I
Well, when
can't,
you
it's
start
like a
deep
lot
diving,
of shit.
though, like I remember I was going to the Huntington Library or the Botanical
Mhm.
Gardens in Pasadena,
Mhm.
and the house is so pretty.
Yeah.
And there was one with like eagles and American flags everywhere. So of course I hopped on Zillow. I was like, I want to see what this looks like inside. And then I went into a wormhole on this property. It's owned by these Chinese billionaires. First
I've
of all,
never been to
you'd
it.
never know. There was
Yeah.
nobody there. It was full of American flags. It was owned by this Chinese family. They own like a bunch of things on the block. The block is hot. And I want to know about these people so fucking bad. Why do they have this property?
Yeah.
Why aren't they here? Why is
Investment.
nobody there? What do they do?
Yeah.
How is it intertwined? And the deeper you go, it just the more complicated it gets. Or even the Koch brothers, like when you start going, I'm like, they're like,
because the thing the Koch brothers do, the way they make money is fucking boring.
what? Tell
It's
me.
like they manage oil fields. There's some like not even the oil. It's not even we get oil. It's like it's like
they make like
they build political, like or Warren Buffett. It's not like sexy.
No. They're not. I don't want to deep dive into one person, but I do
Yeah.
want to understand how wealth interacts in this country
Mhm.
because I think there is something that we don't. It's just on such a grand scale that we can't.
I'll call Ezra.
Goodbye.
Ezra,
You've got mail.
Hello, Neil and Bianca. I am a single white male living in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm 33, and I feel like I am missing all those big benchmarks that everyone seems to be hitting around me, i.e. getting married, having children, holding down an impressive sounding job. I actually was a financial advisor, but I quit because I felt like I wasn't meant for that necessarily. I actually tried stand-up a couple times, and it went horribly. But anyway, I'm considering taking a trip down to South America to maybe experience something akin to what you've described regarding a shaman-led ayahuasca trip, and would love any tips for what city or cities to check out in South America, how to find a good shaman, and how to prepare for the ayahuasca trip. Much appreciated.
No.
I'm with this guy. I think there are a lot of people that they're misfits, right? I may be doing a show about it, a new 3 Mics type show starting in August in New York about this sort of area. So I'm with him in that regard.
You mean not fitting, not just
not
knowing,
fucking all the shit. It's
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
don't do everything I am is like the least popular, single, old, no kids, don't eat meat, don't drink, don't smoke weed, solitary job, work at night. I have a podcast. That's okay.
No,
that's the
that's
one
a
thing
good-
I do.
that's a
That's
good-
pretty
that's a good
pretty
gig.
pretty common. So whatever. It's not even like I'm prosecuted. It's just more isolation.
Mm.
I don't. So I wish you luck. I don't know. I've never been to South America, and in terms of doing it, they say intention's important, and I think it is. But I think the other part of it is you got to be open to whatever happens, and when you're doing it, you can't be like, no, we just this wasn't what I wanted.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
we
wanna talk
said.
about
I
this.
said we were gonna talk about my brother Robbie. I don't have one. So
Surprisingly.
have an intention and then see what happens.
Yeah.
So good.
Good
I like the
advice.
speed of his question.
Yeah.
Plant medicine.
That's right.
We're getting a lot
Horrible.
of use
Horrible song. Doesn't
Horrible.
work. Keep playing it. Worst song since Smallpox Blanket Statement.
Goodbye. You've got
Hey,
mail.
Neil and Biggie. First, I wanted to thank you both. That was absolutely the worst year of my life, but this podcast truly got me through some dark times. Here's my issue. I have incredibly strong feelings for my best friend, and I'm debating whether to tell her or not. The problem is that we live together. I'm not sure she feels the same way. Also, I got out of a long relationship 8 months ago, so I'm still not really looking for a relationship just yet. Better to keep things the way they are or be honest with her about how I feel. For context, I'm a bi, 23-year-old man, and she's a straight 24-year-old woman. That sounds like a long shot on paper.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Because women don't like younger guys at that age.
She's not that young.
Right,
He's a
but I'm
year.
saying not young, but just there's something about at that age where you're like, I don't know.
Oh, well, if you live with her as a roommate and
Yeah.
you're her best friend, probably not.
Probably not.
already
Doesn't see
not
you as
even in
dating.
the
Yeah.
And then this is what I don't like. I'm not really looking for a relationship just yet. You want to fuck around with your roommate?
So
That's your
he's
best
basically
friend?
going like, hey, I want to fuck my roommate. Yeah, any guy that has a roommate and it's a woman above
Yeah.
a certain level, and by the way, not really that high because
Right.
it's a local gig. It's yeah, you want to fuck your roommate, but I love when guys go. I just got out of something. When it was 7 years ago. Okay. It's a little 8 months isn't that long. Isn't
Is
like
that-
is long enough to get over somebody.
Right.
So this guy's saying I want to fuck my roommate, but not get serious.
I think it's
with my best friend roommate who is
No.
donating a kidney. to
You're
me.
about to have another bad year if you do this. It's not
And you know what, friend? We can't help you. We're not going to be there for you this time.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
No,
Pew
don't do it.
Research sent some someone sent some
Pew.
interracial marriage stats.
They want us to do it.
Steady rise in intermarriage in the U.S. 17% of newlyweds are interracial, and 10% are. That's over. This is one of these things where stats don't know how to sell themselves.
Yeah, look at these. Look at
Like
these
the
graphs.
overall
They're so bad looking.
amount of married people. Overall, the pool of married people is 10% is interracial, but new marriages are 17%. So, so cool. And the amount of intermarrying Asians is going down. Bad news for the yellow-fevered white. Sorry, gents.
Neil.
From 33, I don't know what else to say. It's their term. I didn't think of it. And by them, I mean the Asians. From 33% of Asians marrying outside of
Blacks
Asian.
are up.
Blacks are up with a bullet. 5% in 1980, 18%
Guys.
in 2015.
Or in the black.
Guys, that's either good or some would say bad.
Who would say?
Like who's that guy that's on the Breakfast Club that Roy and Trayvon send me the videos all the time? Doctor something. He's just like
He's like,
5%
yes.
guy.
He's like, no.
Yeah.
Do not. But then it's funny because everyone always counters that guy. I don't know him. I just read the comments that is saying like, don't do interracial marriage. And then a lot of people counter him with the fact that he, I don't know enough to quote.
Well, by saying you
Skip.
don't do it, it almost guarantees that you did it at some point. I mean, you know what I mean? Just the rules, the law of contradiction and
Right. I did it, guys. Don't. It was trust
Yeah.
me.
And also you wouldn't espouse something unless you were doing it.
Interesting.
There's, as I've said a million times on here, human beings are running such a small profit margin on morality that in order for you to go out proselytizing, something's wrong. Unless, like I was saying before, unless you're fucking weird. Unless you're a weird Gandhi, ML, like if you're, those people are weird. And I don't mean bad. I just mean they are abnormal. They're rare. So if you're the rare person who's proselytizing, who's not doing something horrible, God bless you.
Martin Luther King.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Been listening from the start and wanted to say that I saw Binky before I heard a lot of her. I thought she was beautiful from the start, but appreciated her intelligence more as I heard each episode. I now believe she is as beautiful as she is intelligent. I love that she speaks multiple languages, is well versed in a multitude of topics, provides balanced perspectives, and is super chill. I'm much older than her, but I'd like to be her when I grow up. Pretty creepy. Neil, thanks for Chappelle Show. That's it. That's the end of it. That's for an unflattering comment. Oh, this is revenge. That's for an unflattering comment you made in passing about Filipinos in a past episode. I don't remember the exact comment, but I remember that it made me narrow my eyes. Despite that, I continue to be a Tuesday listener, as you're clearly intelligent enough to have befriended Bianca. Thanks for the entertainment. I mean, I won't even make a joke about narrowing the eyes.
Neil.
That joke makes itself, right? That's RSTNLE. That's off the top. That's a given. I don't even see that.
Don't sell
and the unflattering comment, I believe, was you said something about curvy Asians, and I said, of course, you're speaking of Filipinos.
Well, that's not unflattering at all.
That's exactly right. She saw it as unflattering.
We're from a different culture. We like curve. Or do you? Well, never mind. Controversial.
As real
controversial.
Sometimes. I don't know. Depends.
It's just not too curved.
Or more curved. It depends how you define curved.
Just as long as they don't have mental health issues.
Good skin. Don't look like a dude.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hi. A few episodes, there was a brief discussion on how you can't support both cancel culture and criminal justice reform. Super interesting stuff. Was just wondering if the source material was an article, book, or interview that you could direct me to for further reading.
It was called The Little Book of Restorative Justice.
Yeah, the comparisons. I don't know if that's what they were talking about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The Little Book of Restorative Justice. Yeah.
Yes.
So my friend is writing El Pequeño Libro de Justicia Restaurativa. Why is this in Espanol?
Don't worry about it.
So yeah, Howard Zare, I believe.
Yep, Howard Zare.
Yeah, so
that's the book.
That's the book, and yeah, it makes sense if you think about it.
Yep, it's a pretty bad way to end the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
But that's all the letters we have.
That was it.
But I got stuff I can do. So
wait, like do, with your Blaze Pods?
Yeah, I have to beat my personal best. Oh, this is interesting.
Come on.
So I do my one-legged squat lunges.
Well, no, we didn't know that.
2, squat lunge, just one leg at a time. You lunge. Basically, you just Isn't
that called like a
genuflect,
a Tarzarian squat or something, a Russian squat?
Yeah. It's fucking
Romanian.
I'm not sure. It may be one-legged squat, and would you like to guess what weights I use for each hand?
30-30.
50-50.
50-50.
Pretty nice. I do a pretty nice job.
Do you do one?
No, I did. The other day I started with 13, 12, 11, 10.
What's your goal? Because if it's to have a bigger butt, you're doing wrong. Then you're doing wrong. Got to do heavy, low reps.
I do.
High reps is tone.
I want both. I want the best of both worlds. I also do the ones that. Anyway, the question is, I texted Blake and said, "What do you do?"
Okay.
Do you want to guess what he does?
75.
75 each?
75 each.
He does 65 each, but said it's light work.
Oh, that's him.
It's like he could probably
That's him in that pool that
he does 65 so as not to
wear himself out.
Yeah, because he's got bad knees. But it was interesting to know. But he said it's light work, and then he hit me with 50's good though. You motherfucker.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you find all of your close friends interesting?
Yeah.
They all are or is there some that are just hanger-ons where it's I love him, but
dead weight?
I love him, but yeah, he's kind of...
Most of my good friends I met through work. So...
There's something already interesting about them.
Yeah,
to me.
Or we like each other, or we fuck around with each other, or there's a long history, But in terms of people I haven't met through work, it's a little hard because I've been I haven't been
Working.
in school since I was 19.
Yeah.
So, and no one moved from Philly to New York.
Have you met all your good friends' family?
No. Bijan, I've known Bijan, whatever you
Bijan.
want to call him. I've known him for 17 years.
Never came over for
18 years.
Persian dinner?
No, they're in Baltimore. I met his sister, so
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty good.
I feel like when you meet a family member, it feels like a solid,
Yeah.
like a real thing.
Yeah, if they meet your family member, it's a little less of like you're probably not a psycho if they're going to introduce you to their family.
But if you never get that invite, it's like, they're just...
Yeah, no, they don't like meeting people.
Are you ever going to throw one of your? So you may not go to a party, but I heard that you used to throw a party every year.
I used to have an
And
ice cream, a cake party.
And is that ever
Pie
gonna,
party, sorry.
Is that ever going to come back?
I don't think it's going to come back.
Neil.
I didn't know, but it was just stressful.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it's just stressful.
Oh.
Plus, I got binocular vision, so I gotta. I have
So you
anxiety.
see through
I have
everything?
binocular
Ugh.
dysfunction.
Okay.
I literally have to get to the eye doctor before they close.
Okay. Well.
So in short, what we're trying to say is that we don't have to take this shit. So.
Bye, guys.
We don't